Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome along to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We are going to have 51 laps of racing here today, and it is going to be so exciting. There has been quite a few changes on the grid positions from yesterday. Lewis Hamilton is starting from the pit lane with a grid penalty. Lewis Hamilton will be starting from the back of the pack or the pit lane. I'm not 100% sure. I think it will be from the pit lane. Because of a grid penalty. We'll also have Esteban Ocon potentially starting in the pits. Guan Yu Zhou will definitely be taking a penalty this weekend, so he's starting further back down in 17th position. Lando Norris has been promoted from 17th up into 15th position because of penalties and changes like that. But yeah, we are going to have a very exciting race. Nonetheless, Lando Norris is out of position. He's going to be making his way around the circuit, trying to claw back some points, trying to get himself back up into the top 10. That's going to be aim number one for Lando Norris. And yes, just to confirm, Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon both will be starting from the pit lane. And then we'll have Guan Yu Zhou, who's taking engine penalties, and that's why he's starting in 17th position. Alright folks, we've got 700 people already tuned in, 800 people already tuned in. Folks, if you could hit the like button, that would very much help out the channel. It just tells YouTube that, this live stream is a really good live stream, and it recommends it to all of the other Formula 1 fans out there. Thank you everyone saying happy birthday. Yeah, it is my birthday, and hopefully we can hit 100k on my birthday. That would be spectacular. But you guys are here for, for Formula 1, not the birthday celebrations. So let's get right into the coverage. We've had, of course, Charles Leclerc back-to-back poles at this circuit. He's done a fantastic job this weekend at driving that Ferrari and has put it up into first position. Ferrari brought the Monza special upgrades this weekend. They brought them last weekend to Monza, and they happened to work absolutely brilliantly here in Baku, which is another high-speed circuit. So yeah, it's brilliant. All right, which team are you siding with, F1 Gamer? I would be siding with, I want, let's see, I want Sergio Perez to win. That's who I'm gonna vote, that's who I'm supporting today. As most of you know, I'm not particularly, I'm not too bothered about who wins, but it would be fantastic if Sergio Perez could win. We'd have 8 winners this weekend, which would be. Would have 8 winners this season if Sergio Perez wins, and that would be very nice for him. Oh yes, happy birthday, mate. Thank you very much, everyone in the chat. Unfortunately, I can't read out all of your names, otherwise I would get absolutely no commentary done. But thank you very much. It is very kind of all of you. All of the messages in the chat. All right, so here we are. We've got the debrief. We've got the data on all of the teams from practice. They've done their long run simulations, and what is it going to be from them? It seems to be a 4-way fight. The Red Bulls, the McLarens, and the Ferraris look identical in terms of race pace. Mercedes slightly further behind, but they were suffering from some issues in FP2, and they were running their engines on lower power settings. We saw George Russell get a precautionary power unit change in FP2 because of, they just weren't sure that the power unit was going to last throughout the weekend. So they took a precautionary measure, changed the power unit, and George Russell is driving around in a different power unit. And Lewis Hamilton, he's got changes to his power unit, and he will be starting from the pit lane because of it. So both Mercedes drivers, they are having to, take some precautionary measures to their power unit. I'm sure Hamilton, they probably saw something in the data saying that this power unit may have a failure during this race, so we should probably change it. And that is why Hamilton will be starting in 19th position. All right. Must have seen something in the power unit. Indeed. Yeah. Gasly, Gasly wasn't, where does it say Gasly? Gasly was 13th, but Gasly must have got an engine penalty as well. So quite a few penalties being knocked around, and that's why Gasly, I think, has been demoted down the grid as well. All right. So if we have a look at the potential strategy options for today, because look at that, the track temperature is 46 degrees, the sun is out in Baku, the sky is totally clear, and the track asphalt is getting extremely hot. So the drivers are going to have to, be very careful of not overheating those tires too much as we go into, as we may even have a 2-stop race today. Where is the strategy guide? Pirelli, have Pirelli just not released the strategy? Oh no, here they have. Okay. So the quickest strategy, according to Pirelli, start the race on the medium tires, then go on to the hard tires. And the second fastest strategy, start the race on the mediums, then go on to a hard set of tires, and then go on to another set of hard tires. So it's either a 1-stop or a 2-stop. Now, we said Monza was a 2-stop, but Charles Leclerc managed to pull off a sensational 1-stop strategy and went on to win the race in Monza. So we could see something like that happen this weekend, but there is one very big but, and the thing is, it is Baku, of course, and at Baku, the chances of chaos are ridiculously high. The amount of safety cars and red flags we've seen here is unparalleled to any other circuit, and so far this season we've had a streak of 8 races without a safety car being deployed. Even a virtual safety car hasn't been deployed, and I suspect that might be broken this weekend, and we're going to see Bernd Maylander driving around that Aston Martin at this circuit. All right. We trust in Perez. Well, Sergio Perez outqualified Max Verstappen for the first time in quite a while. This is one of his best. In fact, this is Sergio Perez's best circuit. So, yeah, we'll see what he can do. He's starting in 4th, and he'll have a real shot at overtaking Carlos Sainz. Ooh, the Skyler, 20 euro donation. Oh my god, thank you very, very much. Happy birthday. Hope you get to 100k today. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, hopefully we do. I mean, I think we've gained already 50 subscribers since the start of the stream. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Das Skyler. Very much is appreciated. Very, grateful to have such nice fans as you guys. All right. All of the drivers are currently on the grid, except for Hamilton and Ocon. They'll be starting from the pits. And one thing I've got to mention here, the Williams, they have done a sensational job. They brought a big upgrade package in Hungary, which was quite a few races ago now, but they finally figured out how to, optimize it and get everything to work properly. Unfortunately, Albon did get his lap ruined because they left in the cooling fan in the intake on his quali lap, so he wasn't able to actually set a quali lap. But I think both of Colapinto and Albon getting through into Q3 is absolutely sensational for the Williams team. It's a great boost in motivation. And Colapinto, in his second Formula One race, he's taken part in Monaco, and this is his second Formula One race. In his second qualifying session, he went and stuck it in Q3. What a fantastic job, and all of the Argentinians will be so pleased with that. Yeah. Oh, you've got an advert. All right, let me just disable the adverts. Just give me a second. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, I've disabled the adverts, so hopefully you guys don't get any more adverts while watching the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. All right, the 2 Haas cars as well. Oliver Behrman outqualified Nico Hülkenberg. A sensational job there by Behrman, getting through into 10th position. Well, he's 10th position on the starting grid. I think he was 11th in quali, but nonetheless, a fantastic job from Oliver Behrman. He outqualified Nico Hülkenberg, which is great signs. He's hit the ground running, and it's only a second qualifying session as well. Same for Colapinto, same for Behrman. Both of them have done fantastic jobs, and yeah, it's really good to see the rookies, hit the ground running and really show what they're made of. Because quite often we see, the rookies get into Formula One, there's quite a lot of pressure, they make mistakes here and there, and it doesn't work out well for them. But these 2 rookies have done a fantastic job. Okie dokes. Why is Gasly at the back? Gasly has taken a engine penalty, and that's why he is starting at the back of the pack. Ooh, I have some quite useful information here. We have got, who is that? George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Both drivers do not have a fresh set of hard tyres. They don't have 2 sets of hard tyres. So all of the other drivers in the top 4 and Max Verstappen. So yeah, the top 4 and Max Verstappen, all of them have 2 sets of hard tyres, so they could potentially do a 2-stop race, as we were talking about earlier. But the Mercedes team do not have that luxury. They opted to go for 2 sets of mediums for the race rather than 2 sets of hards. Now, I think 2 sets of mediums might actually be a slightly better strategy, because you're not going to be using those hard tyres all that long, and if you can split the race into 3 sections, then you could get away with doing medium, hard, medium, and have a fantastic race that way. So we shall see what happens there. All right, remember in FP2 everyone was on mediums except for the Mercs. Yeah, the Mercs were they used those hard tires in FP2, and everyone else, I guess, was on the medium tires. So that explains why. Okie dokes. 2,000 people tuned into live stream. That is fantastic. We are 20 minutes away from the start of the Grand Prix, and let's talk through a couple more talking points. Traffic is going to be a factor. If we have a look at last year's Grand Prix, a lot of drivers did lose out time and performance because they were stuck in the dirty air of traffic. So the pit stops, you do want to be out in clean air. This year, of course, we do have a longer DRS zone. The DRS was previously 450 meters after the exit of turn number 20. That has been now reduced to 350 meters after the exit of turn number 20. So an extra 100 meters for the driver to slipstream and overtake their opponents. So overtaking should be slightly easier than it was last year. Last year it was quite difficult, and we saw a lot of drivers get stuck even behind slower moving traffic, just because it was very tough to overtake. All right. What else have we got to talk about? Oh yes, the drivers lose 20.5 seconds if they pit under green flag conditions, and they only lose 11 seconds if they pit under safety car or virtual safety car conditions. So that is, the drivers lose they gain 9 seconds by pitting under virtual safety car or safety car conditions, which is a very, very good thing. So we shall we'll see if anyone does pit under safety car. The chance of safety car in the previous 8 years of this Grand Prix is 57%. The chance of a virtual safety car is 29%. Extremely high chance of one of those two coming out today. So let's wait and see. Oh, Poe has donated €6. Thank you very, very much, Poe, for the donation. That is very much appreciated. And yes, once again, everyone that is saying happy birthday in the chat, thank you very, very much. It is well, yeah, thank you for the birthday wishes. I think this is probably the most birthday wishes that I've got in my life. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next year. All right. What else have we got going on? Oh yeah, George Russell. He was quite a bit quicker than Lewis Hamilton yesterday, and yeah, it was quite strange actually. Both in Monza and in Baku, George Russell has managed to go 3, 4, 5 tenths quicker than Hamilton in qualifying. So it's quite, I think it's really good for George Russell. But Hamilton has got to find his form again. Nico Rosberg was talking about the effects of getting older in Formula One and what happens as you get older. And the first thing that he said was, as you get older, the first thing that goes is qualifying. The ability to focus and really, hook that one perfect lap together. That is the first thing that goes as you start getting older. So, Lewis Hamilton has got to, make some lifestyle changes, maybe try changing up his training or something, if that is the case. But, it's only been 2 bad races. Maybe it's just a bit of a bad form, and we'll see what he can do next weekend out in Singapore. Of course, in 2018, Hamilton had that spectacular lap where he went quicker than the simulations, the race pace, the qualifying lap simulations that Mercedes had. Hamilton went 2 tenths quicker than that, and yeah, in 2018, one of his best circuits, Singapore, so we'll see what Hamilton can do there next weekend. Yeah, Lewis has no excuses as Alonso is still going strong, but that's the thing. Sometimes, for some people, aging hits a lot earlier and they start feeling the effects of aging, even though they may be slightly younger than someone else. Yeah, Hamilton should just try not getting older. I think that's a pretty pretty obvious thing. All right, happy birthday, mate. Hope you hit 100k subscribers before the end of September ends. Well, hopefully we hit 100k subscribers by the end of this live stream. We'll see what happens. But last weekend we gained 3,000 subscribers during the race stream. So if we can do that again this weekend, then we'll be on our way to 100k. All right. What else have we got to talk about? Well, I'll just run through the grid penalties that we've had. So Zhou has got a grid penalty, so has Gasly. Hamilton is starting from the pit lane for a new engine component, and so is Esteban Ocon. And so those 4 drivers have been demoted from their original positions: Gasly, Zhou, Hamilton, and Ocon. My predictions for Lando Norris, well, it's a bit of a tough one. Of course, Baku is a circuit where you can get overtakes done. It is not unheard of, to see drivers go from 15th all the way up into 3rd or 4th position. So the question is, will Lando Norris be able to do it? We know the McLaren is very quick in a straight line. We saw this in FP2. So Lando Norris is going to have that to his advantage. He's going to be quick in a straight line, which is going to make overtaking a lot easier for him compared to, if he was Fernando Alonso, because Alonso's Aston Martin isn't all that quick in a straight line. So Norris does have that advantage, and of course he does have potentially the fastest or the second fastest car on the grid, so it should be fairly easy for him. But if he can't do the overtakes, then that kind of indicates something. Maybe Lando Norris at this current moment in time is not World Championship material, but that's a totally different discussion to have, and we'll wait and see what Lando Norris can do, and then we'll talk about it. It's going to be up to him to get overtakes done. There can be so much done by the strategy. The team can work out a good strategy, get him into clean air and all of those things. But it's down to Lando Norris. He's got to make those overtakes happen. And we'll see if he can do that. All right, the risk of rain from the FIA is 0%. No chance of rain today. We're now 13 minutes away from the start of the Grand Prix. Mate, who do you think will win this race? Honestly, cannot say. It could be Leclerc, it could be Piastri, it could be Sainz, it could be Perez, it could be Russell for all I know. Going into turn number 1, Piastri locks up the brakes a little bit, or maybe Russell locks up the brakes a little bit, and they all have a massive crash. We will, we have no idea what will happen. So Baku is always unpredictable, and maybe we'll see Franco Colapinto on the podium. There is always a chance. We've seen this before. I think Lance Stroll in 2017, was it 2017, ended up getting a podium here in Baku, and in a Williams. So we'll see if Franco Colapinto can do that, or maybe Alex Albon. We shall see. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Indeed, that quote is quite famous. Of course, here in 2021, we did have an incident with Lewis Hamilton just after he said that over the radio, or I think he got told that over the radio. But yeah, we'll see what the drivers can do. We'll see what Norris can do. He doesn't want to do anything silly into turn number 1. He knows that Baku is a circuit you can overtake at. He'll overtake Ricciardo, he'll overtake Stroll, Hülkenberg. And also, one thing I do want to point out is, one thing I'm going to be paying attention to is Norris going to lose positions off the start of this race? Because, normally when he's at the front of the pack, he's competing at the Ferraris and the Red Bulls, and they do have probably the best traction on the grid because they are the fastest cars on the grid. So we'll see if Norris can hold position at least against Bottas and Zhou and Gasly, because if he can do that, then that at least indicates that it's not that bad of an issue. It's just a very slight, very small problem for Lando. Compared to if he loses the position to Bottas and Zhou, then that indicates a little bit more of bigger problems, and it might be, might be down to Lando Norris to improve his lap one racecraft. Yeah, if Lando loses out to Bottas, I'm going to laugh, shaking my head. Yeah, well, we'll see. We're not long now from the race start, and we'll see what happens to Lando Norris. All right. Folks, do let me know who you think is going to win. Unfortunately, I can't make any predictions. But if you have a crazy prediction like Carlos Sainz is going to take out Piastri and then Ferrari are going to score a 1-2, then do let me know what you think is going to happen. But all of the drivers now, they're getting ready. The national anthems have been played. The drivers are putting on their balaclavas and helmets. They're taking off their ice packs, and they'll be getting in the cars very, very shortly. Track temperature at 46 degrees. It is extremely hot, and I suspect a two-stop strategy will be the way forward. So we'll wait and see if the two-stop works. But yeah, well, this is the thing. We thought at Monza it was super hot. Everyone's going to do a two-stop, but Charles Leclerc managed to pull off a one-stop. So who knows? Who knows what will happen today? Turn 1 lockup and safety car calling it. Yeah, we could have a turn 1 lockup for sure. I mean, Colapinto, has he started this far up the pack? Has he started on such a narrow street circuit before? No. He could potentially lock up. It could be anyone, you know. I'll lock up at turn number 1. You forget to turn off the magic brake button and you go straight on. Okie dokes. What else have we got to talk about? Let's have a look. Well, what to watch for? We shall be watching for Charles Leclerc looking for a back-to-back wins. That would be, I think, the first time since 2019 Leclerc has got back-to-back wins. Leclerc, of course, got his first win in Spa and then his second win the next weekend in Monza. So if he can go back-to-back, then that would be the first time in 5 years that Leclerc has gone off with back-to-back wins. Then we'll have the threat of Red Bull. They have brought a massive floor upgrade, Red Bull have, this weekend. They have fixed the majority of their balance issues. Sergio Perez, the car was looking very stable in his hands, and it was also looking very stable in Max Verstappen's hands as well. So the Red Bull seems to have fixed their issues. Perez looking good, so is Verstappen. And their race pace sims were looking quick as well, identical to the McLarens and the Ferraris. So Red Bull are right up there, and we'll see if Sergio Perez can potentially score a podium this weekend. Maybe he could go on to win this. Of course, last year he did win it by quite a significant margin against Max Verstappen. So we'll see if he can replicate that success this weekend. World Constructors Championship prediction. Honestly, I don't know what the World Constructors Championship prediction is going to be, but this is the thing. There's 8 points between Charles Leclerc, 8 points between, McLaren and Red Bull, and Ferrari are not all that far behind. So maybe we'll see Ferraris leapfrog McLaren's. I think McLaren will probably take the champion. Well, actually, Lando Norris has got to make some really good progress up the field if McLaren want to overtake Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, because otherwise they'll just hang on. We know Sergio Perez is very good at street circuits. We've got Baku this weekend, Singapore next weekend, and Red Bull might be able to squeeze out 2 more races of them being in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. F1 Gamer Horner said that the car balance was off during Q3. All right, well, that's interesting, actually. Well, it may have been off during Q3, but I think during the rest of the weekend, the car was still fairly drivable compared to what it was in Monza, where the drivers were twitching around in all the practice sessions and things like that. All right, we're getting all of the messages coming through 10 minutes. That's what it said from what? It said 10 minutes a couple of minutes ago. I get for Guan Yu Zhou and Valtteri Bottas, and we've got a radio check coming through from Carlos. All right. Very nice. Why is Hamilton starting from the pits? Hamilton starting from the pits. He's replaced his power unit, yeah, as it says on the right side of the screen. Okay, dokes, let me have a quick sip of water, otherwise my throat is going to start hurting by the time we get to the halfway point of this race. And yeah, not long now till we are underway for some racing. Okay, also the other thing that I was going to say is, what was it? Oh yeah, I was going to say that the drivers will probably, if they're going to pull off a one-stop strategy, they're going to be pitting around about lap number 23 or so, 22, 23, from the medium tyres, and then they'll switch on to the hard tyres at their pit stop. So that's the expected strategy for a one-stop. If they're doing a two-stop, then they'll pit around lap number 17 or 16, switch on to a set of hards, do, I think, around 25 laps or so on the hards, and then or 20 laps, and then do the remaining part of the race on a fresh set of mediums or hards. Do you think someone will go bowling into turn 1? Well, it's always a possibility, but the thing here at Baku is the run from turn number 1, from the run from the starting grid to turn number 1 isn't all that big. Normally, say at Monza, you've got a massive run from the starting grid all the way to turn number 1 in the braking zone, but here, the run from turn number 1 to the starting grid quite short, so the chances of actually getting an overtake done into turn number 1 are quite minimal. However, if you can force a driver to go offline into turn number 1 and turn number 2, then going towards turn number 3, there is a huge opportunity to get an overtake done. We've seen this quite often happen. The drivers going through turn number 1 and 2, they are, side by side, not conceding position to anyone. But then if they can get a slipstream down the straight through turn number 2, then an overtake into turn number 3 is very, very likely. And a crash into turn number 3 is also very likely. A driver, even a slight lock-up, and you go straight on, tap someone else into the barriers, and that's game over for them, game over for you, and we'll have a safety car coming out as well. All right. Everywhere is an overtaking opportunity if you're brave enough. Well, that's a very, very, very true point. We'll see. I think overtaking opportunities probably going into turn number 8 would be rather stupid. Turn number 8, for you guys' information, is the narrowest part of the Formula 1 calendar. It is only 7.8 meters across, which means you can go too wide, but you can very, very barely go too wide through turn number 8. So yeah, we'll see what the drivers do, but I think by that point in the middle sector, the drivers will have decided to go single file. Oh my God, that's a massive team radio message to Oliver Behrman. And they're just analysing the track temperatures and the aero balance and just checking a couple of things before they go and do some racing. But yeah, 5 minutes till the formation lap. That's the message going towards all of the drivers. Turn number 8 is a very good overtaking opportunity if you're looking to overtake Leclerc. Yeah, indeed, an I am stupid moment could occur for Charles Leclerc, and everyone will drive past him. But we'll see. We've got 6,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We are now 4 minutes away from the start of the Grand Prix. And I'm going to be forecasting a very, very exciting race with the Ferraris in 1 and 3 and the McLarens and the Red Bulls basically identical on race pace. Sergio Perez is going to be attacking Carlos Sainz like there's no tomorrow, and I think if he overtakes Carlos Sainz, then Oscar Piastri is right up there, next up on the list. So Sergio Perez is not going to be holding back today, and we'll see what he can do. All right, why is Ocon in the pits? So just an update for anyone that's just tuned in. We've got Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon both starting from the pit lane because both of them have changed their power units, or they've changed some components of their power units. Guan Yu Zhou and Pierre Gasly, they have replaced they've taken a grid penalty because they have taken extra power unit components for this weekend, and because of that they will be starting at the back of the pack. All right, but here we are at the Azerbaijan Street Circuit, round number 17 of 24 in this Formula 1 season. We've got 20 corners, 6 kilometers per lap. The drivers are using the softest tyres in Pirelli's range, the C5, the C4, and the C3. And we have two DRS zones. The first DRS zone being 100 meters longer this year to help overtaking, which should be, I'm going to be very excited to watch that. And top speeds are reaching 360 kilometers an hour when the drivers get a tow and a slipstream and a DRS. Well, a tow and a slipstream is the same thing, but if they get a DRS and a slipstream going down the main straight, you'll expect to see them hitting 360 kilometers an hour. All right, so let's go from the bottom of the starting grid. We've got the tyre information coming through. This is a critical moment here. Danny Rick starting on the hard tyres. All right, this is interesting. So Albon's on the hards. Lando Norris is also on the hards. Zhou and Gasly are also on the hards, and we've got Ocon on the hards. Hamilton, however, is on the mediums, and everyone else is on the mediums. So nobody's opting for the soft tyres. They do seem a little bit sort of fragile for this kind of temperature. 45 degrees track temperature. The soft tyres far too fragile to be taking part in any sort of race. And we'll be seeing just the mediums and the hards for today's race. Alonso starting on 1 lap old mediums. That's fine. That's as expected. Aston Martin typically use 1 lap old tyres at the start of a weekend. And All right, here we go then. So from the bottom of the pack, Hamilton knock on fresh engine components. They're going to be pushing their power units to the limit at this circuit, trying to get their way through the pack and slipstream and overtake a couple of drivers ahead of them. Gasly and Zhou, both of those drivers have taken penalties and they're starting in 17th and 18th position respectively. We've got Lando Norris out of position after getting knocked out in Q1 because he got blocked in qualifying. Then we've got Valtteri Bottas in 16th position, who's potentially got a seat for next year at Audi, but nothing has been confirmed as of yet. We've got Stroll in 13th position, who's going to be over the moon because Adrian Newey is joining Aston Martin, and that is fantastic news for the Aston Martin team. And then, of course, we have got Daniel Ricciardo, who may be out of a seat at Racing Bulls next year. The rumors, the paddock rumors, are suggesting that Danny Rick will not have a seat. We'll wait and see. If he can outperform Tsunoda really well in the next couple of races, then he may be able to hang on to it. But chances are running out for Daniel Ricciardo. We got Tsunoda up in 11th, Nico Hülkenberg in 12th, Oliver Behrman stepping in for Kevin Magnussen because he has got a race ban on because of penalty points and infringements and such. So Behrman on his second Formula One Grand Prix, taking part in Azerbaijan, which is fantastic. It's one of his favourite circuits, and he did brilliantly in qualifying yesterday and outqualified Nico Hülkenberg. Then we've got the two Williams that made it through into Q3. A spectacular job from both drivers. Colapinto outqualifies Alex Albon, admittedly because Albon got his second Q3 lap ruined, but nonetheless, Franco Colapinto has done a brilliant job so far in his second weekend of Formula One, and we've got much more great things to come from him. All right, and there we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are getting underway for the formation lap, folks. Let's go racing. All right, I cannot wait. Okay, let me increase that like target to 2,000 likes. Thank you everyone for hitting the like button and subscribing. Very much is appreciated. And there we go. We've got everyone moving around for the formation lap. Let me know what your predictions are for today's Grand Prix. But we are going to have an action-packed Grand Prix either way. Okie dokes. So here we go. Where was I up to? Fernando Alonso has dragged that Aston Martin, which has absolutely no straight line speed whatsoever, up into 7th position. A great qualifying from him. Max Verstappen has recovered a bit. The Red Bull looks stronger, but he's still not as strong as he was last year, and he's going to have to put his absolute best performance in if he wants to get up onto the podium. George Russell outqualified his teammate by 0.4 of a second yesterday, and we'll wait and see what he can do in today's Grand Prix, but he's looking particularly racy on this formation lap, right behind Sergio Perez. And Sergio Perez, this is his best circuit that he has got on record. He's got the most points here out of everywhere, and we'll see if he can go on and get a race win. He did it last year. Maybe he can get back-to-back wins at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We've got Carlos Sainz in 3rd position. He's coming to his end of his time at Ferrari, and we'll see how he can do. But Charles Leclerc is Ferrari's golden boy, and he is starting from pole position alongside Oscar Piastri, who is he's done a fantastic job in quali. Hasn't got knocked out like Lando Norris, and I guess Oscar Piastri today is going to be treated like the number 1 driver, and it's not going to be Lando Norris. Papaya rules aren't going to matter today because Norris is down in 15th, Piastri's up in 2nd. So let's wait and see what happens. We're going to have 51 laps of racing here, folks. We've got 11,000 people, 12,000 people already tuned into the live stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Folks, if you could subscribe, hopefully we can hit 100k this weekend, this race. And it'd be fantastic. It's my birthday today, so it'll be a brilliant sort of birthday gift, birthday present to hit 100k. Oh, why have we already got a yellow flag? Okay, never mind. That's a bit of a glitch in the marshalling system. I don't know why they've just switched to yellow flags. Back to green flags though, and all of the drivers are now making their way to the starting grid. Let me get rid of this screen on the text, and let's wait and see. Thank you everyone for all of the lovely happy birthday messages. But here we are for the race now. The previous wins that we've had in 2022, Max Verstappen won it. In 2023, it was Sergio Perez. And this weekend, we have got Charles Leclerc starting from pole. And Oscar Piastri is looking so racy. He's weaving his tyres left, right, doing a couple of burnouts as well, getting the rear tyres up into temperature. The brakes will be ready to go racing as well. But all of the drivers now making their way to the starting grid. All right, thank you everyone in the chat for saying happy birthday. Yeah, very much is appreciated. And yeah, we are getting our way closer to 100k. There we go. I think we've just had 80, 90 people already subscribe in about 30 seconds. So thank you very much. And we're about to hit 2,000 likes. So let me just knock that up to 3,000. But here we are underway for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. All of the drivers now making their way to the grid. We've got the first 4 drivers queued up, and now the final couple of drivers are making their way to the back of the pack. We have Gasly, who'll be the final driver, taking us to the grid, and then Hamilton and Ocon will be starting from the pit lane. Okay, and we've got the medical car at the back of the pack. All of the drivers have lined up. You can see all of the flashing red lights because the ERS systems are fully charged. And the marshals are waving the green flags. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And it is lights out and away we go. Charles Leclerc gets a great start, covers off Oscar Piastri, and he is under no pressure whatsoever. There's a slight lockup at the back, but everyone has managed to make it through turn number 1 safe and no damage whatsoever. Great race start, and Perez is up into third. He gets ahead of Carlos Sainz. A fantastic move there. And Verstappen gains a place as well. Russell is down. Both Red Bulls gaining a place on lap number 1. Sainz tries to overtake Perez again, but there is no chance that he can get that done. And we've got Albon still holding 9th position, gets ahead of Behrman after Behrman tried to overtake him. Good job there. Lando is up 2 positions. Look at that, a good race start from Lando Norris. That has never happened before. Well, that's a little bit harsh, but nonetheless, a good start from Norris. He's up into 13th, and he's got Stroll ahead of him. We'll wait and see what he can do, but now they go into the castle section for the first time. Let's not have an I am stupid moment from Charles Leclerc as he makes his way through turn number 8, the narrowest part of the circuit, and nobody has any contact so far in this Grand Prix. All right. And they barrel their way down through the middle sector now towards turn number 15. One of the hardest braking zones on this circuit. It's so bumpy, and locking up is so easy. But Charles Leclerc, Piastri, Perez and Sainz all make their way through very nicely. And look at that gap at the front. It's 1.04 seconds. Piastri has got to do everything in his power. He's going to be deploying the overtake button as he goes down the straight because he has got to stay within DRS range of Charles Leclerc. Has Stroll got a puncture? Oh yeah, Stroll has got a puncture. It's just come over the team radio. Stroll's got a puncture. It might be a slow puncture because he's still holding 11th position somehow. Actually, no, he's backing everyone up, which is very clear. And Stroll's into the pits. Very unfortunate there for Lance Stroll to get a puncture. And look at this, Lando Norris, so racy. And into turn number 1 he goes, and he's gained another position on this. A fantastic job there by Lando Norris. He's up into 12th place. 3 positions gained on the opening lap, and DRS has been enabled. And look at that, Oscar Piastri just ever so marginally managed to get the DRS of Charles Leclerc. Now the question is, can he hold on to it in the middle sector? The dirty air will be holding him back, so let's wait and see what he can do. All right, and we have got Lando Norris. He's in 12th position. He's right on the tail of Yuki Tsunoda, and Tsunoda is looking in his mirrors. He's got no one ahead of him to help him with DRS. Behrman is 4 seconds up the road, and that is all due to the fact that Lance Stroll got a puncture at the start of this Grand Prix. Stroll's out on a set of hard tyres, but it's going to be a long old race for him unless the safety car comes out, which is we've got 50 laps of racing for it to do so. Okay, so we're watching the onboard here from Lando Norris. He's basically pushing Yuki Tsunoda through this middle sector. He's right on his tail now, and Tsunoda is going to be under a whole lot of pressure. But up at the front of the pack, we have got Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri. Look at that gap. It's 0.8 of a second as they go through turn number 16. And now the question is, will Piastri be deploying that overtake button? Will he be deploying all of his energy and power to try and get ahead of Charles Leclerc at the start of this Grand Prix? Leclerc will have no DRS. Piastri will. The McLaren is super quick in a straight line. And yeah, there goes the rear wing flap, and Piastri is gaining, and he is gaining. He looks to the inside, but he is too far back on this occasion. He's probably going to have to be 6/10 back coming down the main, coming out of turn number 16 if he wants to get an overtake done, not 8/10 back. So we shall wait and see what Oscar Piastri can do. All right, Lando Norris, can he get the overtake done on Yuki Tsunoda? No, he cannot. Tsunoda goes defensive, squeezes him all the way to the wall. Lando Norris, can he get the overtake done into 2? Yes, he can. And Tsunoda, is he going to have DRS to try and re-overtake Lando Norris? No, he isn't. Norris has done that overtake to perfection, and Tsunoda looks like he's going to lose another position to Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg breezes past him, and Tsunoda loses 2 positions in the space of 1 corner. Very, very unfortunate there for the Japanese driver, and now he's just ahead of his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. All right, Norris up 4 positions now, and this is the time. He's got 5 seconds of clear air ahead of him. He has got Oliver Behrman as the next driver up ahead, and we'll keep an eye on their lap times and see who's doing better. But look at that, fastest lap of the race from Oscar Piastri on the previous lap, and he's just managing to hang on to Charles Leclerc. But it's going to be a very tall order. Around the middle sector especially, the tyres will start overheating. We've got track temperature up at 45 degrees, and those medium tyres are going to start feeling the heat very, very soon. Okay. All right, lap number 3 of 51. And look at that, DRS has been mostly broken already. Piastri is not going to have any DRS on Charles Leclerc coming through the main straight on this occasion. And look at that gap, 1.02 seconds. He's not close enough for DRS. And Piastri is, well, he's out of contention for now. And Charles Leclerc is going to lead this race for the next few laps. All right. Norris, though, is in free air now. He is on the hard tyre, so Norris, in fact, has done a fantastic job. He's managed to overtake quite a few drivers who are on medium tyres, while he himself is on hard tyres. So some good driving there from Lando Norris. And Tsunoda's lost another position. He loses a position to Ricciardo and to Gasly. And this has been a terrible race for Yuki Tsunoda, losing 4 positions in 1 lap. Very, very unfortunate for Yuki. And he made this exact same mistake what he did on the previous lap. He pushed Ricciardo out at turn number 1, which was fine. But then going into turn number 2, Ricciardo got the overtake done. He also had the DRS, and there's nothing Tsunoda can do. He sat there defenseless with no overtake mode, no DRS, and he just gets breezed past by Gasly as well. And now he's just been overtaken by Hamilton. I mean, Tsunoda must have damage or something, no? How has he lost so many positions? That is a bit strange. Also, look at that gap there between Norris and Behrman. In the space of 1 lap, that's gone from 5 seconds down to 3.8. So 1.2 seconds gained from Lando Norris on the previous lap. Very, very nice. Stroll did get a puncture on the opening lap of this race. It's most likely going to be a 1-stop according to Pirelli. But with track temperatures so high up, we may be seeing a couple of 2-stops. And, well, if a safety car comes out, then it's quite likely to be a 2-stop race. Do you think Colapinto should replace Albon for 2025? I do not think that should happen. Colapinto has done a fantastic job so far, but he's only done 2 races. Let's see what his race pace is like today. And, you know, if he performs well, I'm sure someone else will be happy to take him as a seat. Tsunoda's got damage. Okay, so Tsunoda got damage, and because of... Okay, so going into turn number 4 on the opening lap, Tsunoda closed the door on Lance Stroll. I don't know exactly. I haven't seen all of the onboards. That's what Stroll said. He closed the door, but Stroll got a puncture because of that, and Yuki Tsunoda got floor damage because of that. So Tsunoda's driving with a damaged floor, and Stroll is right at the back of the pack because of a puncture. All right. And a fastest lap, oh my god, the exact same fastest lap. We had this last race as well. 2 races in a row, we see the exact same fastest lap from both drivers. 1:48.408. How has this happened? Because this happened last race, and I said this is a once in a lifetime thing, and this is never going to happen again in Formula 1. And somehow it's just happened again. I mean, wow. All right. Oh, wow. We got 18,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And folks, if you haven't hit the like button and if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. Hopefully, we can get to 100k today. We're not all that far off. We did gain 3,000 subscribers last weekend. And, well, last race, actually. I think we gained 5,000 over last weekend. And YouTube tells me that 85% of you aren't subscribed. So it'd be, it'd be very nice if you guys do hit the subscribe button. Hopefully, we can hit 100k. All right, now I'll have a look at the back of at the top of the pack again. Piastri has managed to get DRS on this occasion. He's 8/10 back from Charles Leclerc. He is gaining. He's got an extra, what's that? I think that was an extra 12 kilometers an hour going down the straight because of the DRS. He's just set a fast lap of the race now. That was quicker than Charles Leclerc on the previous attempt. And George Russell now, he's getting DRS on Max Verstappen. Verstappen got the overtake done on the opening lap of this race. However, it looks like he hasn't got the consistent race pace to actually be able to deliver and stay ahead of George Russell, and Russell's now catching up to Max Verstappen. We'll see what George Russell can do. It's going to be a very exciting battle nonetheless. Piastri versus Leclerc, Russell versus Verstappen, and Lando Norris in 11th position. He's fighting his way back and catching up to Oliver Behrman. He's got Hülkenberg in his mirrors. In fact, Hülkenberg on the fresher medium tire, on the medium tires, which are quicker than Norris's hards. He is actually giving Norris quite a bit of trouble, and Norris is in fact looking in his mirrors quite a bit rather than just focusing on the road ahead of him and driving as quickly as possible. He's having to look in his mirrors because Nico Hülkenberg is right there. All right, but here we are, lap number 6 of 51, and look at that, once again, Piastri, he was close going through the first sector, but as soon as you go through the middle sector, you lose so much time for being close to another driver ahead of you, and Piastri is 1.5 seconds back. All right, they've asked Lando Norris how are the tyres, and Norris said they feel all right at the minute. So Norris saying his tyres feel good, which is a good sign. The hard tyres should last for quite a while, at least till lap number 25 for Lando Norris. So yeah, he's got another 20 laps or so on those tyres. All right, yeah, but as we get later into the later stages of this first stint, the hard tyre will start to be more favourable than the mediums, and we may see some overtakes being done. Norris should get past Behrman, maybe Albon will get past Colapinto. I don't know what Williams will do about team orders. But if we have a look at the fastest sectors, Leclerc is fastest in the first and the second sector, and Hamilton fastest in the third sector. Hamilton, of course, with the slipstream and the DRS, has made quite a few overtakes, and he's got, in fact, the lowest downforce setup out of everyone from the top teams. Hamilton's running the lowest downforce, and that's why he's the fastest in the third sector. Charles Leclerc now takes the fastest lap of the race away from Oscar Piastri. I mean, is this 2021 all over again when we saw Hamilton and Verstappen trade fastest laps for about 20 laps every race, and now we're getting Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri trade fastest laps for quite a while now. We'll see. But we are approaching halfway through the first stint. We'll see the medium tyre runners start pitting lap number 16, 17 and 18. All right, F1 Gamer, the team's doing a one-stop or a two-stop strategy this race. It's most likely going to be a one-stop, but if the safety car comes out, it will be a two-stop. Can Lando get a podium? Well, I mean, he's gone up 4 positions in 7 laps. If he continues at that rate, then yes, he can definitely get a podium. He can go on and get a race win. But it's going to be a lot harder getting past Behrman, getting past Albon, Colapinto, and then once you get up to Fernando Alonso, Alonso will make it very sure to make your life quite difficult when you try to overtake him. So we shall see. Any near misses or contact? I've just joined. Well, for anyone that's just joined, a quick summary of what's happened at the race start. Both Red Bulls gained a position on the race start. Sainz and Russell lost out. Norris had a good race start for once and was up 3 places at the end of lap number 1. And on the opening lap, the only contact that we had was between Stroll and Tsunoda. Stroll got a puncture because of the contact, and Tsunoda got a damaged floor. And both of those drivers are, well, suffering because of it. Lando Norris gets the overtake done on Oliver Behrman. Nicely done into turn number 1. Behrman doesn't fight it. He knows that he knows that this isn't his battle to fight, and he may as well just use the DRS that he gets off Lando Norris to boost himself and get him to make himself a little bit quicker down the straights. And now, ahead of Oliver Behrman, Norris has got another 4 seconds to catch up to Alex Albon and Colapinto ahead of him. But overtaking Colapinto and Albon will be harder, firstly because Albon will get DRS from Colapinto most likely, and also the Williams are very slippery in a straight line, and the McLaren is quick in a straight line, but the Williams are around about the same pace, and that's going to make it particularly difficult. All right. Oh, wow. 20,000 people. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, folks. We're getting pretty close to 98k now, and we're getting pretty close to 3,000 likes as well. So, folks, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, if you haven't liked, then it would very much be appreciated. Helps out the channel massively, and hopefully 100k on my birthday. That'd be spectacular. All right, but Lewis Hamilton, he's pushing very hard as well. You know, Lando Norris has been getting all of the attention, but Hamilton is up 4 positions off the start of this race. He started in the pit lane. He's up now into 15th position. He's got Pierre Gasly ahead of him. Hamilton's on the quicker mediums. Gasly's on the slower hards. So we'll see what Hamilton can do as they go through now. Oh no, George Russell has just come over the race saying, I think a plastic bag went into my left side pod or left air duct. So that could spell trouble for George Russell. That is going to be an immediate DNF because your car will start overheating if you've got a plastic bag in the air duct. But he's going on fine for now. So let's see. All right. But Hamilton now, can he get past Pierre Gasly into turn number 1? No, he cannot. Hamilton, unfortunately, too far back compared to Pierre Gasly at this moment in time. We'll see if he can get an overtake done into towards turn number 3. Yeah, Russell may go for a 2-stop. Yeah, if they realise there is a plastic bag, then they'll bring Russell into the pits, pull out the plastic bag, and then they will send him out again. All right, it is hammer time for Lewis Hamilton. Indeed it is. He's in 15th position and he's about to overtake Pierre Gasly, but he's got a long road ahead of him to get to the points now. Yeah, a very uphill battle indeed. Any update on Sainz? No, Sainz is doing all right. I mean, if you're having a look at the team radios, a couple of minutes ago it said early throttle in turn number 7, so they're just saying that he should get on the power earlier at turn number 7. But fairly standard stuff for Carlos Sainz. All right. Here we go then. So if we look at the race strategies, the drivers will be pitting around lap number 19 on the medium tyres if they're doing a 1-stop, and they'll start pitting lap number 11 if they're doing a 2-stop. So if anyone comes into the pits now in the next couple 2-3 laps, then we can expect a 2-stop race. If not, then it's going to be a 1-stopper. All right. Here we go then, 98k subscribers. That is brilliant. Only 2,000 subscribers away, and with 20,000 people watching, I'm sure we can get 2,000 people to hit the subscribe button. We've already hit the like target, which is spectacular, and up to 4,000 likes then. Brilliant. All right, Nico Hulkenberg has... I think Hulkenberg's just overtaken Behrman there. The Haas team have switched that around. Ooh, plenty of overtaking with Norris and Hamilton. Indeed, there has been plenty of overtaking. Norris now catching up to the back of Albon. We'll see what he can do. And Hamilton once again has got DRS on Gasly, but he's unable to overtake through the main straight. And unfortunately, I don't know what's going on with Hamilton, but I think he sticks behind Gasly far too much in the middle sector and then doesn't really have a chance to... and then he loses time because of that. His tyres start overheating and can't get a great exit at turn number 16. So he may have to back off a little bit in the middle sector, let Gasly get ahead of him and catch up to him in the final sector. Was it team orders for Behrman? I don't know if it was team orders or not, but... it seemed like a fairly straightforward overtake from Hulkenberg. So we'll see. They are on the same tyres, and Hulkenberg is quicker by the looks of it. You look at that, the gap's already up to 1.5 seconds, and Hulkenberg overtook him a couple of corners ago. So, yeah, I think that's fair enough. But, it's Behrman. Behrman isn't the lead driver at Haas. They might as well just use team orders. It doesn't matter all that much. Max Verstappen said, I've got 0 bite. So, yeah, he's saying Max is complaining about his tyres. We know that Max Verstappen really does like having a very pointy front of the car. And if his car isn't biting... Oh, someone's coming into the pits. Who is that? One of the drivers... I've just seen someone come into the pits. Is that Colapinto? Colapinto's into the pits. First driver into the pits. Looks like Colapinto is doing a 2-stop strategy today. Yeah. All right. All right, so they've released Alex Albon, and we have got Colapinto, who is his first driver to come into the pit lane. 2.7 pit stop, 2.7 second pit stop for Colapinto. Nicely done. All right, and look at the lead up at the front. Charles Leclerc, 3.5 seconds in the lead of this race. He's done a fantastic job building that gap. Piastri has been doing his best to keep up with him, and the gap isn't all that big. 3.5 seconds is very easily undercuttable at this circuit. The tyres, the undercut is very, very strong, and we'll see what Piastri can do when the pit stops come around. But Perez is a bigger concern for Piastri as of now. Perez is only 2 seconds behind him, and it looks like he's catching up as well. All right. What else have we got? Colapinto doing an undercut. Well, I think they're going to get a feel for how quick the tyres are from Colapinto. Of course, it isn't. Colapinto is only, I guess a part-time. He's not a part-time driver, but he's only driving for half the season. Albon will always get priority at the Williams team, at least for now. And Colapinto is, I guess, gathering some data on the hard tyres as well. He will be doing a 2-stop, and it's useful information for the rest of the teams. How quick are these hard tyres in these conditions? Can you warm them up quickly? Will you be able to pull off an undercut? Because, I know for sure McLaren strategists and Red Bull strategists will be looking at that, trying to figure out if they can undercut the driver ahead of them. And there we go. Alonso, second driver into the pits now, and he will be doing a 2-stop race as well. All right, everyone's opted for a 2-stop race, and this might be the smart choice here. If you opt for a 2-stop strategy and then the safety car comes out during your second pit stop or around about the time of your second pit stop, then you can gain 9 seconds against everyone else and also have fresh tyres. So a lot of the teams that do go for a 2-stop at Baku, they do take into consideration there's quite a big chance of a safety car. All right, we got Bottas into the pits as well. Very, very nice. How long is the pit stop? The drivers lose 20.5 seconds coming into the pits, plus however long your pit stop is. So if your pit stop's 3 seconds, the drivers in total lose 23.5 seconds in the pit lane. And if it's a safety car or virtual safety car conditions, you only lose 11 seconds, plus however long your pit stop is. 1 stop is riskier. Remember 2021. Indeed, yeah, Verstappen had a tyre failure. I think Stroll ended up having a tyre failure as well. I think in 2021 it was. So, yeah, running a 1-stop at Baku is slightly risky, but, our drivers have done a lot more risky things for a lot less reward. So we'll see what they do. And Norris, unfortunately, hasn't been able to catch up to Alex Albon all that much. The gap was 3 seconds just after he overtook Behrman, and since then, the gap has now only gone down to 2.2 seconds, and Norris hasn't made that much progress. Both drivers are on hard tyres, so, you would think Norris would catch up to Albon very soon, but that's not happening. All right, Verstappen's into the pits. It's a 1-stop for Verstappen. Russell dives into the pits with him. Both drivers come into the pits at the same time. 3.1 second stop for Russell, for Verstappen, and is that a slow stop for Russell? What's going on there? No, it was a fairly, I think a 3-second stop for Russell as well. And do they come out in clean air? That is the question. Verstappen comes out. He's just behind Ricciardo. And, well, he's got Ricciardo, Behrman and Hülkenberg ahead of him, so not the best of pit stop timings for Max Verstappen. George Russell, however, has got a gap between, there's a gap between Verstappen and Russell, and that is Pierre Gasly in between them. So that's a bit of a breathing room for Max Verstappen. He doesn't have to worry too much about anyone in his mirrors. It's not going to be a one-stop race, folks. All of the drivers that are pitting around lap number 12, 13, they will most likely be doing a two-stopper. Everyone else who pits, say, lap number 20 or so, they will be doing a one-stop. So we shall wait and see. And yeah, Norris is up into 6th position, but you got to take into account Alonso, Russell, Verstappen, all of the drivers have come into the pits. And Norris is starting the race on the hard, so he's going to go much longer before he comes into the pit lane. All right, Hamilton's had his pit stop as well. Tsunoda's coming out of the pits in 20th position. Very unfortunate there for Tsunoda. He has got quite a bit of damage on his floor. And of course, in these regulations, the floor generates a massive 60% of the downforce towards the high-speed corners. And, well, if you have got a damaged floor, that is a massive, massive hindrance for Tsunoda. But I think he's just staying out in the case that there is a safety car, and then he can make a couple of overtakes there and potentially get up into the points. But now Perez into the pits as well. 2.6 second stop for Sergio Perez there. Look at that. Everyone except the top three has come in to do a two-stop race, and the top three still holding out. We've got Max Verstappen. He just gets out ahead of Daniel Ricciardo into turn number 1 now. Nice overtake there from Max Verstappen. Sergio Perez still 4 seconds, more than 4 seconds up the road compared to Verstappen. Have a look at that. What is that? That looks like 8 seconds between Verstappen and Perez. So, Sergio Perez, the king of the streets, is ahead of his teammate by a significant chunk there. Okie dokes. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. We are getting very close to 100k, and hopefully we can hit that by the end of the live stream. That would be fantastic. Fantastic birthday present, birthday gift to hit 100k. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, otherwise my throat is going to start hurting. We'll see if Leclerc, Piastri and Sainz pit, but I have a feeling they will be staying out they might be doing a one-stop strategy. You know, they pulled it off. The Ferrari, Charles Leclerc pulled it off for Ferrari last weekend. They could pull off a one-stop strategy. Piastri could be getting undercut by Sergio Perez depending on how quick Perez goes. And look at that, a purple middle sector from Perez. He's right on the tail of Lando Norris. And I think that Piastri is under pressure now. He could be getting undercut by Sergio Perez if he doesn't come into the pits very time soon. I think the top three now have confirmed that they will be going for a long a one-stop race, because otherwise they would have pitted, and they're getting undercut already. Sainz is undercut by Perez. Piastri is about to get undercut by Perez, so it looks like they will be going for a one-stop. Verstappen overtakes Behrman. Nicely done from Verstappen, and actually Behrman dives into the pit, so it doesn't really matter. All right, here they go, and we've got Hamilton. Is he getting past Pierre Gasly? Yes, he is. Finally. That's Russell. Sorry, apologies for that. Russell finally gets past Pierre Gasly, and now another driver, Daniel Ricciardo, is swooping around the outside of Pierre Gasly. Can he get it done? No. Gasly is so late on the brakes, and he manages to hold it against Daniel Ricciardo into turn number 3. Nice defending there from Pierre Gasly. He didn't have DRS, but he managed to defend that one. Perez quickest in the first sector now, and they're going to be doing a one-stop by the looks of it. They've told Lando Norris to hold up Sergio Perez in the middle sector. I don't know what's going on here. Is Piastri going to pull into the pits? Is he relying on his teammate to slow down Sergio Perez? Perez has done a masterful job at slowing other people down, specifically Abu Dhabi 2021. And I don't think Norris is going to have any sort of chance to defend against Perez coming down this straight. Perez has come over the radio saying, he's holding me. So Here they go. Down the main straight they go. Lando Norris versus Sergio Perez. Lando Norris will be deploying all of his overtake button, and the McLaren is super quick in a straight line, but Perez has activated the DRS. He's pressing that overtake button now, and here he comes. Can he get past Lando Norris into turn number 1? Yes, he can. There is no chance that Norris is keeping that position going into turn 1. And does Piastri stay out ahead? Yes, he does. Oh my God, Lando Norris has done a fantastic job for his teammate. He has just held up Sergio Perez and Piastri by the finest of margins. Look at that, 0.7 of a second, and he maintains position. A fantastic defensive job by Lando Norris, and he had done just enough to ensure that Oscar Piastri can keep that 4th place. Oh my God. Fantastic driving there, from Lando Norris. It is a, teamwork there. And, all of last week, everyone was talking about how Lando Norris should be the number 1 driver. And look at that, roles have been reversed. Norris is playing the number 2 driver, and he's slowing down, he's slowing down Perez so Piastri can hold position. Yeah, McLaren have done a good job with the strategy. That's a big surprise. And it looks like the Ferraris are trying to pull off a one-stop here. It may work out very, very well for them because you do lose 23 seconds in the pit lanes at this circuit. So 23 seconds, it's fairly standard compared to everywhere else. And, well, the Ferraris pulled it off at Monza, so why not pull it off at Baku? All right. Good bit of action there, but now Perez is right on the tail of Piastri. He is under pressure now. The gap is 0.6 of a second, the closest it has been for quite a while now. And here comes Sergio Perez. The DRS is activated and Charles Leclerc into the pits. Lap number 17 of this race. Will he be able to maintain the lead? The Piastri and Perez are going to be squabbling. Leclerc comes into the pits. Carlos Sainz takes the lead of this race, but will he be able to stay ahead of Piastri? That is the question. Here they go, and it looks like, yes, they have held position. Piastri defends against Sergio Perez, and Leclerc maintains his net lead of the race. Oh my God, look at this. This is so close. Albon, I don't know what Albon's doing up there in 3rd position. He just hasn't come into the pits yet. But Albon is thankfully defending. He's defending against Piastri. He's essentially defending for Charles Leclerc here. He's just a bit of a roadblock. Piastri would be trying to overtake Leclerc, but Albon's there blocking him away. And if you're a Ferrari fan, cheers to Alex Albon, because he's doing a brilliant job there for Charles Leclerc. And I must say, a fantastic pit stop by the Ferrari pit crew. It was so quick, and at even a 10th or 2 slower, and Leclerc would have lost that position to Albon, and he would be under threat of getting overtaken by Piastri. But the pit crew from Ferrari, a brilliant job, and Leclerc, by the finest of margins, is now going to run away from Piastri, while Piastri is now stuck behind Alex Albon. The Williams is very quick in a straight line, and Piastri may even have a bit of a tough time overtaking him going down the straights. What is the pit time? It's 23.5 seconds to come into the pits. Tsunoda has retired from this race, folks. Just too much damage to his floor, and Tsunoda's retired from the race. Very unfortunate for him. All right, here they go then. We've got the Williams, then the McLaren, and then the Red Bull back in the distance. And will Piastri get past Alex Albon? Yes, he will. He pulls out to the left-hand side, and as long as he doesn't mess up this braking zone, which he doesn't, he gets that 2nd place of the race. And as Sainz dives into the pits, and now the gap between himself and Leclerc, 1.2 seconds. I have a feeling, though, at the start of the race, the gap was 1 second. Piastri could do absolutely nothing about it, and Piastri could do nothing about it at that point in time, and I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about it at this point in time. I don't know exactly what Leclerc's pit time was. I don't think they showed it, but yeah, apologies for that. I got a little bit confused. One more position for Danny, since a DNF for Yuki Tsunoda, yeah. Hamilton, purple in the final sector there, manages to get ahead of Guan Yu Zhou, a brilliant slipstream. And Hamilton, though, still down in 15th position. He's gained 4 places, which is similar to what Lando Norris did a couple of laps into the race. But Hamilton gets ahead, stays in 15th position. He got ahead of Ocon on the previous lap, and now he's ahead of Zhou on this lap. All right. I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and yeah. All right, 25,000 people tuned into live stream. Folks, that is amazing. If you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. Hopefully we can hit 4,000 likes. But more importantly, if we can hit 100k today, then that would be fantastic. We're getting pretty close now to 99k. And what's that, 567 subscribers away from 99k. So yeah, folks, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hopefully you get to say before I was here before 100k. All right, we've got Sergio Perez. He's overtaken Alex Albon now on this lap. And look at that gap, 2.2 seconds. Folks, we have got a three-way battle for the lead. Look at this. Oscar Piastri's got DRS. We've got Leclerc versus Piastri versus Perez. Oh, my God. And we've got 33 laps of racing still left to go. This is going to be fantastic. All right, Sergio Perez, the king of the streets, they call him. He is fantastic at street circuits. He's now got 2 seconds to catch up to Piastri, which shouldn't be too difficult because Piastri's going to be struggling with dirty air from Charles Leclerc. And then, of course, a three-way battle for the lead of this race would be amazing. All right. Here we go. Bottas is slow. I don't know actually what's happened to Valtteri Bottas. He must have had a spin at some point or something like that, because I don't know how he's 16 seconds behind Stroll. Yeah, not sure what's going on with Valtteri Bottas. All right, this is the most critical point of the circuit as they go through turn number 16. And look at that gap. Leclerc gets a good exit. So does Piastri. The gap, 8.5 tenths. It's not going to be close enough to get an overtake done unless Charles Leclerc runs out of battery as they go down the straight. Piastri is gaining. Look at this. The live speed from Oscar Piastri, 320 kilometers an hour through the speed traps, and he's gaining. And the distance is going down to 40 meters, 30 meters, 20 meters. He's gaining. Dives to the inside. Can Piastri get this done? Yes, he can. What a move from Oscar Piastri! But he squeezes Leclerc all towards the wall, towards turn number 2, and Leclerc backs out of it. Leclerc backs out of that overtake into turn number 2, but Leclerc's going to have DRS now. Look, Piastri weaving left, right, and towards turn number 3 they go. Charles Leclerc has got a massive overspeed. Piastri on the inside, Leclerc on the outside, and Piastri, has he missed his braking zone? No, he has not. Both the drivers so late on the brakes, and Piastri got an overtake done from 40 meters back at Charles Leclerc. He was so late on the brakes, and what a move from Oscar Piastri. And Leclerc is now under pressure from Perez behind as well, and we've got a McLaren in the lead of this race, and it is not Lando Norris. Everyone last week was saying Lando Norris should be prioritised as a number 1 driver. I don't think so. I think it's going to be Oscar Piastri very, very soon. And well, Oscar Piastri is in number 1 of this race as of now, so a fantastic job there. Charles Leclerc was playing it safe. I reckon he should have made the move in towards turn number 2, but Piastri was super aggressive. He was very fair, and he left a car's width for Charles Leclerc, but wow. Yeah, Leclerc's now under pressure. He's got driver ahead of him. He's got a driver behind him. But here they are coming out of turn number 16. And now this time the gap is 7 tenths of a second for Charles Leclerc. So he's closer than what Piastri was. He goes down through turn number 16, 17, 18 and 19. And Piastri's weaving left and right. The stewards are surely going to have a word about this. But Piastri won't care. A black and white flag means absolutely nothing to him. Leclerc opens that DRS and he is gaining and gaining. He looks to the inside now. What can Leclerc do? Nothing on this occasion. I feel like Leclerc's going to try and overtake into turn number 3. He is so close to Piastri now as they go towards turn number 2. And Perez is right there waiting for an opportunity to pounce. If both drivers miss their braking zone, then you know who's going to capitalise off that. It's going to be Sergio Perez. So here they go. Oh my god, Leclerc is pushing Piastri through this first sector now. It is so tight between these two drivers, and we're on lap number 21, folks. We've got 31 laps of more racing, just like this. Wow, this is fantastic. Hamilton gets an overtake done onto Behrman into turn 1. In fact, Behrman brakes so late that Hamilton can't get the overtake done. Fantastic driving by Ollie Behrman. And defending against Lewis Hamilton there. Hamilton still stuck in 15th position, unable to make progress up the field. And wow, okay, so through the middle sector, the gaps are still 0.7 of a second. We haven't seen this happen for quite a while. At the opening stint of this race, if the gap was 0.7 of a second through the middle sector, it would, by the end of the middle sector, it would extend out to around 1.2, 1.1 seconds, but not this time. Leclerc and Perez are right on it, and both of them are trying to overtake. It's now just a question of when will Piastri's battery run out? When will he run out of overtake mode? And then Charles Leclerc is going to come charging past. All right. Lando Norris is saying that he's struggling out on the hard tyres. He's getting towards the halfway point of this race on the set of hards, so he should be able to manage a one-stop from here if you can do maybe 5-6 more laps. But here come all the top three down the main straight. They go. No DRS for Oscar Piastri, but the gap once again is far too big for Charles Leclerc to get an overtake done. He may be conserving his battery, and look at that. Piastri's rear light is not flashing. That means he isn't charging up his battery. Both Leclerc and Perez, both of their rear lights are flashing. Both of them are charging up the battery. It will be a matter of time now before Piastri runs out of battery if he continues at this rate. Leclerc's over the radio saying they're pushing like crazy, or have they got just more, or have they got more grip than us? Charles Leclerc doesn't know, but I have a feeling that all of the three top drivers, they're pushing for this. This is for the win, and we're only halfway into this race. I mean, Piastri, of course, has got no dirty air, so he will have more grip, but somehow Perez, with the dirty air of two cars ahead of him, is still managing to hold on. And, you know, they don't call him the king of the streets for nothing, so we'll see what Perez can do, and I'm sure he'll be waiting just for the opportunity of the tiniest contact between Piastri and Leclerc, and Perez will say, see you later, thank you very much. Franco Colapinto got an overtake done on Pierre Gasly a couple of laps ago, so very nice there. And oh my god, we've got a battery level warning, and looks like Oscar Piastri's battery is nearly close to depleted, according to AWS at least. And here they are going down the main straight. 0.9 is the gap, a little bit bigger than the previous lap, so Piastri has that small advantage, but if his batteries run out, nothing is going to happen. So, well, he's not going to be able to defend, so let's wait and see. 0.8 is the gap as they are charging down the main straight, and can he hold off the challenge of Charles Leclerc? Yes, he can. Oh my god, Leclerc is so close every single time they reach the braking zone, but he's just a little bit too far back, and we've got one of the drivers further behind getting an overtake done. We've got Sainz overtaking Lando Norris. We've had one of the Ferraris overtake one of the McLarens, but I would say it's probably the wrong Ferrari overtaking the wrong McLaren. We would much rather see Leclerc get an overtake done on Piastri. Perez is losing his pace. Yeah, clearly, as you can expect, Perez's tyres are going to start overheating soon enough, and he's going to have to drop back at some point. Leclerc, of course, might be able to hang on for a couple more laps, but it's going to be an uphill battle from now. All right, folks, we're getting pretty close to 99k now, 98.6k, what's that, 352 subscribers. We've got 26,000 people watching. I know 85% of you aren't subscribed. If you could help out the channel, let me get 100k on my birthday, that'd be brilliant. But well, let's get back to the race, because that's what you're all here for. And going through the middle sector, turn number 15, all of the drivers pushing so hard. It's so bumpy braking at turn number 15, but the drivers going in with full and utter commitment. And through turn number 16 they go. The gap between Piastri and Leclerc is 0.7 of a second. All right, let's have a look at these top speeds then. Oscar Piastri comes out of turn number 20 and he goes 312 kilometers an hour. But here comes Charles Leclerc with the DRS, with the slipstream. He's approaching 333 kilometers an hour, 340 kilometers an hour, and he's gaining and he's gaining. He looks to the inside and he's still too far back. Wow, Piastri must have deployed all of his overtake mode when he tried to overtake Leclerc on I think lap number 20, because he pulled off a sensational move there, and Sainz now up into 4th position. Sainz is going to start catching up. 8 seconds is the gap, in fact, between Sainz and Perez, so he's still got a while to catch up. And Verstappen now is trying to overtake Lando Norris. The gap is, there's a 1 car length gap between Norris and Verstappen. And, Norris is weaving, and Verstappen is not going to be pleased. He moved under braking. He moved under the slipstream as well. And Norris has blocked Max Verstappen, and Verstappen, I think he's pressed the radio button and has already started complaining there. A bit of a questionable defense from Lando Norris. And, if that ended up in a crash, then he would definitely get quite a few penalty points on his license. Don't know what you're doing there, Lando, but yeah, you gotta keep that under control, otherwise the stewards will have a word. All right, Piastri, and look at that gap now. It's 9/10 of a second. It's getting bigger and bigger. Piastri is held on for the hardest part of the battle now, and now he's just got to cruise it through, not make a mistake going through turn number 16, because a single mistake, a single snap of oversteer, and you lose 4/10 of a second. We saw it yesterday in quali. Verstappen lost 4/10 of a second through the final sector because of one bit of oversteer through turn number 16. The smallest of margins can make the biggest of impacts in this Grand Prix, and Charles Leclerc driving flawlessly, but so is Oscar Piastri. Leclerc's got the DRS once again, but it's not going to be enough going down the main straight to get an overtake on this occasion. Now, let's have a look. Will Verstappen overtake Lando Norris? Will Verstappen be overly aggressive to Lando Norris on this occasion? Because I'm sure Verstappen's not going to be pleased. And Verstappen's gaining and gaining. Oh no, Verstappen's over the radio saying my brakes aren't working. I think that's a bit of an over-exaggeration, because his brakes are clearly working, because he's slowed down for turn number 1. However, they're not working as well as he would have liked. And this often happens at Baku. The teams put the smallest possible front brake ducts and rear brake ducts on the car because they want to reduce the drag on the car. And because of that, the brakes start overheating too much. So yeah, they're going to have to be careful there with that, and otherwise Verstappen may end up with a brake failure. All right, we've got 26,000 people watching. Wow, we're getting pretty close to 99k now. What's that? 107 subscribers away. Thank you everyone for tuning in, folks, and I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. This race, though, already a 10 out of 10. We've still got 27 laps left of racing, and I can predict this is going to be another one of those 10 out of 10 races that we've had this season. So many of them, and this season's been fantastic. So let's enjoy it. All right. Through they go into turn number 16, and we have got Charles Leclerc 7/10 of a second behind Piastri, and has he made a mistake there through turn number... Yeah, it looks like Piastri's made a very small mistake. Oh no, sorry, Leclerc's made a very small mistake, and he may lose that DRS to Oscar Piastri. Piastri, of course, got the fastest lap of the race at this moment in time, so he's doing a good job there. Both Albon and Norris are essentially being a tyre whisperer, both of them being tyre whisperers. They've done 24 laps on these set of hard tyres. They're going to go, I think, maybe 2, 3, 4 laps more, and then switch onto the hards and drive to the end, and they'll only be doing a one-stop race. However, all of the drivers ahead of them, I think Piastri for sure, should be doing a 2-stop. So this is going to be very, very interesting. We're going to have a very similar situation to what happened in Monza. We may see a couple of the drivers in the top 4. I don't know, maybe Perez, because Perez was behind 2 drivers for dirty air. That's going to really hurt his tyres. So we may see Perez come in to do a second stop. We may see Piastri, we may see Leclerc. We don't really know. It depends on the team and what they decide to do with the strategy. But a 2-stop is on the cards, a 1-stop is on the cards, and it's very similar to Monza. All right. Let's have a look then. All right. Oh, this is another thing that we're gonna have to keep in mind here. Oscar Piastri, he was in the dirty air in the first stint, right? He was in the dirty air of Charles Leclerc, and he overworked those tyres. He pushed far too hard on them, and towards the end of the stint, they really dropped off. Now, Leclerc and Perez, they are both going to be suffering from the exact same issues. Perez, for sure, like, he's going to suffer from that quite a bit, because he's been in the dirty air of both both Leclerc and Piastri. So towards the end of his hard tyre stint, he's really going to start to struggle. So we may see Perez do a two-stop. Oh my God, they've come over the radio to Russell and they've asked, what lap do you expect Albon or Norris to box? And they've said, we expect another 10 laps at least until they come into the pit. So there's Albon and Norris. Well, I don't know what Mercedes engineers are thinking, but they expect the hard tyres to last till lap number 35, which might be a little bit long. But we'll see. Oh, here we go, 99k. All right, we're getting very, very close to 100k now. Charles Leclerc, 0.6 is the gap, 0.5 is the gap. He's sat in Piastri's DRS, but that is eating away at his tyres every single lap, every single corner. His tyres are getting eaten away at from overheating and just worse tyre wear and sliding around too much. So we'll see what Charles Leclerc can do. But if he can pull off a one-stop this weekend, then huge props. Did Lewis have a grid penalty? Indeed he did. He started the race in 19th position. He started from the pit lane because he changed his power unit, and that's why he's down in 14th place. Yeah, very unfortunate. He's unable to make that much progress up the pack, to be honest. Not ideal for Lewis. I must say this is the best commentary / watch along for F1 I've found so far. Good job. Thank you very, very much. I'm sure most of you think that, but very much is appreciated. All the messages in the chat. All right, we're on lap number 27 of 51. We've passed the halfway point of this race. And look at this, Charles Leclerc going through turn number 16. The gap is 6.5 tenths. This is the closest he has been for the previous 6 laps or so now. And if he has got enough battery, he may be able to get ahead of Oscar Piastri. But, oh my God, Piastri gets such good traction out of turn number 16. And Piastri is still weaving. He's weaving left, he's weaving right. And he's just managing to hold off Charles Leclerc. Going into turn number 1, yeah, Leclerc too far back. You know, I was expecting Leclerc to send one down the inside. But of course, this is much bigger than Charles Leclerc going for a second win. The Ferrari's Constructors' Championship is still on the line. And if you have a look at this, Leclerc and Sainz will be outscoring just Piastri up in first position. Norris currently is in 6th, but he's still yet to do his first pit stop. So yeah, that's why Norris is up in 6th position. He's still got to pit, and I think when he does pit, the Constructors' Championship will swing in Ferrari's favour. And Charles Leclerc does have to be mindful of that. He is of course a driver in himself, but he is of course a Ferrari driver, and his main aim will be to score as many points for Ferrari. How many times are we allowed to at you? Because I don't want to spam F1 game. But you're allowed to at, once every 5-10 minutes or so. And the mods, of course, can at whenever they need to. But yeah, just don't worry too much about the spam. If the mods aren't banning you, then don't worry about it too much. Also, I'm just going to read out a list of my Patreon members. They have very much supported the channel for a very long time now. Well, not actually all that long, but we've seen they're significantly helping out the financial stability of this channel, because as most of you know, I block adverts on the live streams, so you guys don't get any adverts. And the patrons help out the channel quite a bit. So I'm just going to read out all their names. So Stefan, Tomaher46, The Code Monster, Matt, Andrew Eastwood, Andrew N, Shush, Exoteric, Tragic Fun, Alfie, and AJ. And then, of course, our moderators, Remy, OG Ninja, MCG, Kiez, Multi Ninja 888. All of these mods as well very much do help out the channel. But, folks, we've got an overtake from Charles Leclerc. Can he get the overtake done into turn number 1? Oh my God! And Piastri goes all the way to the wall to defend against Charles Leclerc. What a defense from Piastri. He is putting absolutely everything on the line, and he is driving like an absolute beast. And what a drive from... Wow, Piastri is putting up some sensational defending. He did make a slight mistake out of turn number 16. His traction wasn't all that good. Leclerc pounced on that mistake, but going into turn number 1, what a defensive maneuver from Oscar Piastri. Leclerc's not going to be pleased. Perez is going to catch up now, and once again, a three-way battle for the lead of this race. Oscar Piastri, a fantastic job. The Minister of Defence indeed for Australia, and he's making all of the Aussies proud. Oh, Hamilton coming over the radio saying, are you seeing how I have to drive this thing? So Hamilton not particularly pleased about how he's having to drive this car. And he's saying, and the engineers say to him, well, we see what you're doing, Lewis, but it's very effective. So, you know, it's working out well for Lewis, but, well, it's working out well in the data, but we'll see if he can actually gain any places and get up into the points. There are a couple of drivers around him still yet to pit for their first or second stop. So let's see. All right, here they are coming down the main straight once again. The gap is 0.7 of a second, and here we go. Charles Leclerc is gaining and gaining. Piastri is weaving. He's looking in his mirrors. Dirt is being sprayed around. And look at the top speed difference. Piastri 321. Charles Leclerc 331. Piastri is most definitely using his battery there. By normal standards, McLaren only reaches 325. They reach 330 down the straights. And Piastri is definitely using his battery. It's going to run out very, very soon. Looks like racing's back on the menu, boys. Indeed it is. Thank you, Robert Tape, for the donation. And racing is indeed on the menu. It's been on the menu all season long, and we're getting whole, absolute mouthfuls, platefuls of racing. All right. Here comes Sir Charles Leclerc. Oscar Piastri has been defending so well. I mean, it's akin to how Fernando Alonso defends. He gets a fantastic exit out of certain corners. We may even, when we watch the replays and look at the telemetry after the race, we may see Oscar Piastri, pulling off some extra tricks here and there to ensure that Leclerc can't overtake him. But Piastri has done a fantastic job so far. We are 800 subscribers away from 100k, folks. If you are enjoying the coverage, please be sure to subscribe. Hopefully we're 100k and we're having fantastic racing all while that is happening. I don't know if Piastri is doing a one-stop or a two-stop. Piastri could pull off a one-stop because he has got clean air, whereas Leclerc has been stuck in the dirty air of Piastri for around about, how many laps is that now? 14 laps he's been stuck in the dirty air of Piastri. And well, his tyres are going to be suffering. So I think Leclerc will have to do a two-stop. We'll have to wait and see. All right, here they go. And we have got Sainz. Oh, no, sorry. We've got Leclerc. 0.6 is the gap. 0.5 is the gap. And this is closer than he has been on previous attempts. DRS is open and he's gaining. Piastri, he looks to the inside. Piastri goes defensive. Leclerc tries to swoop round the outside and Piastri holds it once again. A good defensive maneuver. But going into turn number 2 now, Leclerc is right on his tail. The DRS is activated for Leclerc as soon as he's onto the power and Piastri is in trouble. Here they go. Both drivers deploying all of the power that they have available to them, and Leclerc is centimetres away from the rear wing of Piastri, but still doesn't get the move done into turn number 2. Wow. Oh my God, it is getting nice and cozy up at the front, and Sergio Perez has come along to say hello. 1.1 seconds is the gap between him and Leclerc, and if there's anything that goes wrong between Leclerc and Piastri, then we're going to see Sergio Perez say come hello to the first place position. They come over the radio to Charles Leclerc, keep it tidy, this is good fighting. And, good racing from the McLaren team. And if we look at Piastri's tyres look fairly in good condition, right? Because he's had the clean air and he's been able to manage his tyres however he wants through the middle sector because he knows that Charles will not be able to overtake in the middle sector. How has Lando not overtaken Albon yet? I don't know. Albon's been pretty quick and Norris has been struggling quite a bit over the radio. So Norris still in 6th position, stuck behind Alex Albon. Ooh, Charles Leclerc, a little twitch of the rear end as he comes out of turn number 16, and that's not going to help his case. All right, that is not going to help his case, so let's wait and see. Once again, coming down the 2-kilometer main straight here at Baku, and Charles Leclerc is going to do absolutely everything he can to stay right behind Oscar Piastri, to get every single bit of slipstream he can. On this occasion, he's too far back to get an overtake done, but Yeah, he's right there, and we've still got 20 laps left of racing, coach. 20 laps left of racing, and we have. Look at that, the top three within 1.5 seconds of each other. This is fantastic. All right, is this Lando Norris? He's finally... Oh, he's overtaken Albon, but Albon's into the pits. Okay, so Verstappen now, he's trying to overtake Lando Norris. And Verstappen's not going to be pleased here. Verstappen has to defend against Russell. And Verstappen was about to overtake Lando Norris. I think it was about 6 laps ago now. And Norris got very, very feisty and a little bit overly aggressive and managed to hold position. And since then, Verstappen has been stuck behind Norris, which has probably compromised his race strategy quite a bit. So now George Russell is on the scene, trying to overtake Max Verstappen, the reigning world champion. All right, so here we are now, lap number 30 of 51, and we're going to see what the McLaren drivers probably come into the pits soon now, because, well, we're going to see Lando Norris come into the pits very soon, because he can go to the end of the race on a set of mediums from this point in time. Oh my god, the gap, half a second. The half a second is the gap now as they go through turn number 16. That is the closest it has been for the previous 15 laps. This is the closest it's ever been at turn number 17. And, well, here comes Charles Leclerc then. He's got the overtake, he's got the DRS, and this is going to be his best shot to overtake Oscar Piastri. And he's gaining, and he's gaining. And Oscar Piastri, is he going to go defensive into turn number 1? Yes, he is. Piastri already moves all the way to the wall. And Leclerc, can he swoop round the outside? No, he cannot. Piastri holds it once again. Now towards turn number 2. Leclerc gets a great run. Piastri cuts him off. And Leclerc has to slam onto the brakes to avoid Oscar Piastri. And now through turn number 2, once again, DRS is going to help out Charles Leclerc. But Piastri gets so much better traction. He's weaving around. And will Leclerc get the overtake done into 2? No, once again. He's 1 car length back. And look at that. Sergio Perez is on the scene. And now Charles Leclerc, who's been tormented by Oscar Piastri for the previous 16 laps by being stuck behind him, is now under threat of being overtaken himself by Sergio Perez. Wow. This driving from Oscar Piastri has been brilliant. If he gets this race win today, it will be utterly and completely deserved. Verstappen's come over the racing. I have no rear grip. The car is just jumping on the rear. There's no contact. So Verstappen's, the rear of the car is bouncing quite a lot. It is a street circuit. The surface is naturally more bouncy than if it was just a dedicated racing circuit. And yeah, Verstappen's he's gonna struggle a little bit to the end of this race. But thankfully, his championship rival, Lando Norris, is still yet to pit. And once he does pit, he will come out in 8th position, which will be behind him. All right. Yeah, I mean, Piastri is making his car so wide today. Some fantastic defensive driving from Oscar Piastri. And folks, we've got 28,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I assure you, for the 19 remaining laps of this race, we are going to have some fantastic racing on our hands today. Also, we are 605 subscribers away from 100k. Folks, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. And if you aren't able to type in the chat, if you hit the subscribe button, it lets you type in the chat after 1 minute of being subscribed. But wow, here it is. Once again, as they go through the as they go through the first couple of corners, Leclerc too far back on this lap, but Perez is right there, and Sainz will be catching up soon enough. The gap was previously 8 seconds, now down to 6.9. And the more and more the drivers at the front squabble, the more and more Carlos Sainz is going to catch up. Norris is trying the zero-stop strategy. Well, yeah, Norris is... I don't know what Norris is up to, but he should have pitted a while ago now. The medium tyres can comfortably do 18 laps to the end of this race, but maybe he's waiting for a safety car. You know, the battle at the front has been brewing for quite a while, and the tyres are getting older and older. Leclerc, if he had even the slightest lock-up into turn number 1, and then, a safety car, a virtual safety car is out, and Lando Norris gains 9 seconds in the pits. That would be absolutely huge for his race. So I think what they're doing is just hanging Lando Norris out on the first stint for as long as possible, and just hoping for a safety car to come out so they can gain 9 seconds for free. All right, but Max Verstappen, he's got overtaken, I think. Yeah, Max Verstappen got overtaken by George Russell. He's down into 7th. Verstappen really struggling now. in this race. His car bouncing around quite a lot. The rear of the car a little bit too low to the ground, and because of that, he's suffering. So we shall see if he can recover from that. But it seems like an unfixable problem that they can only fix by turning the ride height up, but they can't do that halfway through a race. So Verstappen's gonna have to live with it for the remaining 18 laps of this race. All right, wow, look at this, 512 subscribers. I'm basically counting down at this point. But thank you everyone for subscribing, everyone that's just subscribed in this stream. Charles Leclerc's tyres look slightly worse they look worse than Piastri's tyres. They've just come over the radio, they've looked at the onboard cameras, and Leclerc's front tyres surprisingly look better than Piastri's, but the rear tyres look quite a bit worse, which is interesting. But yeah, of course, Leclerc has been sliding around quite a bit, trying to get amazing exits out of turn number 16, and because of that, his rear tyres have really started to suffer. How many laps can the softs do? Are the softs available? The softs can do, I think, 8 or so laps, and they are available, but with track temperatures up at 43 degrees, the teams would just opt to go for the medium tyres rather than the softs. Yeah. All right. What happens with Verstappen's car? The car is just bouncing around too much, so he's losing rear grip as he goes through a couple of corners, and that's making it a bit undrivable for him. Colapinto, I must say, is having a fantastic scrap for 9th position. Hulkenberg and Albon, all of them competing for 9th. Albon here is on a fresh set of mediums, so that should be a comfortable overtake for Albon. However, Albon's teammate Colapinto is giving Hulkenberg DRS, which makes it very tough for Albon to get an overtake done, and they may be stuck in this limbo all the way to the end of this race. We'll have to wait and see who's going to crack first. But Albon on a fresh set of mediums. He's the only driver on the circuit, in fact, at this moment in time, who is on a set of mediums. And we'll see if he can make that work. Charles Leclerc is gaining, and he's gaining on Oscar Piastri, but he's just too far back. The FIA increased the DRS zone this year by 100 meters. Maybe they should have increased it by 150 meters, maybe 175 meters, and that would put Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri side by side every lap. That would be fantastic. They've come over the radio to Charles Leclerc saying, come on, Charles, keep it up. And, they're pushing to his, Charles is pushing to his absolute limit here. But Piastri is putting his car at the exact right place at the exact right time, and he's managing to hold on to this race. Wow. All right, folks. All right. Ooh, let's have a go. Hulkenberg gets a great run on Colapinto as they go into turn number 1, and Colapinto concedes the position to Nico Hulkenberg. And I have a feeling they'll swap around the positions very, very quick at Williams to make sure that Albon's tyres do not get worn out. However, they have got drivers behind them, so they can't switch around just yet. Behrman's a second behind Albon, and Hamilton is a second behind Behrman. Oh, Leclerc, a massive snap of the rear as he goes through turn number 16. He's been trying for so many laps now, trying to get past Oscar Piastri, and the rear of the car are really suffering. Oh, look at that, the radio. Box opposite McLaren. Ferrari are going for a 2-stop race. There's a yellow flag. Oh my god, there's a yellow flag. Ocon's going slowly at the front, and our track is clear. Okay, Ocon missed his braking zone at turn number 1, and it looks like Ferrari's going to pull into the pits here. If Leclerc pits, where does he come out? He comes out in 4th position, and then his job will be to catch up to Oscar Piastri with 16 laps left of this race. It's going to be tough, but if anyone can pull it off, it will be Charles Leclerc. Wow, that was close. Ocon was about to cause a virtual safety car there. He went straight on at the braking zone at turn number 1, and they didn't box. I don't know why Charles Leclerc didn't come into the pits. Yeah. All right, I don't know what's going on there, but Leclerc was told to box and he didn't come into the pits. Anything could change what the result of this race. We've got 28,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And look at that, we are 400 subscribers, 379 subscribers away from hitting 100k. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button and if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. It would enormously help out the channel, and hopefully, on my birthday, we're getting pretty close to 100k subscribers, and hitting 100k on my birthday would be brilliant. Wow, what a race this has been. All right. Here we go then, and look at this, Carlos Sainz is catching up to the action as well. The gap between Sainz and the action was previously 8 seconds, now it's only 4 seconds, and Sainz is, he's going to catch up to the action soon enough, and he will have tyres that have not been stuck in dirty air all race, and he could have a shot at overtaking Perez and getting that 3rd place podium. Okay. Here we go then. 7 tenths is the gap as they go through 16, and once again Leclerc, his exit out of 16 is pretty bad because his rear tyres are overheating and wearing out a lot more. Sainz is second a lap faster. Yeah, it does look like that, and Sainz is going to be catching up very, very soon. All right, Piastri is having to work so hard though to hold this on. The amount of focus that he must have. He's running millimeters away from the Tech Pro on the exit of turn number 1 and turn number 2. These drivers are doing a sensational job of, giving us an amazing battle here. And in 4 laps time, Carlos Sainz will be within striking distance of Sergio Perez, and then we have a battle brewing in 4 laps as well. Lando Norris finally comes into the pits. He's done 37 laps on a set of hard tyres. They put him now onto a set of medium tyres. He goes out a very quick pit stop, and he's going to have 14 laps to attack as much as he possibly can to try and win this not win this Grand Prix, try to get ahead of Max Verstappen. That's aim number 1 for Lando Norris, who's currently the World Drivers, currently in the running for the World Drivers' Championship. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. My throat has really been hurting. I've been talking quite loud because this racing has been fantastic. Yeah, look at that. Oh, wow, we are 209, 208 subscribers away. Not long now, not long. Thank you everyone for subscribing. That is very much appreciated. All right, oh my god, look at this. Colapinto is defending against Behrman and the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. This is fantastic driving by the rookies. Admittedly, they are out of the points by 2 positions, but Colapinto in 11th doing a brilliant job defending against Behrman, and Behrman defending against Lewis Hamilton. He's been defending against Hamilton for quite a lot of this race now, and Behrman's this is great recommend. What was I even going to say? Behrman's just been doing fantastic. He was brilliant in Saudi Arabia when he stepped in for Carlos Sainz, and he's done brilliant this weekend as well. All right, Leclerc over the radio. What does he say? Ferrari are thinking about Plan C, and I think Leclerc just came over the radio and said, no, it's stupid. Leclerc is absolutely not holding back because he's just said, his engineer asked him, we're thinking about Plan C, what do you think? And Leclerc, I think, has just said, I know it's stupid. Unless I heard him incorrectly. Wow, Leclerc getting quite savage over the radio, to be honest. All right, they've come over the radio to Norris saying we want the best pace in order to catch Verstappen. The gap between Norris and Verstappen, 15 seconds. There's 13 laps left of this race. However, Verstappen is on 26 lap old hard tyres. Norris is on fresh mediums. So let's wait and see. Oh, we're almost at 100k now, 135 subscribers away. Thank you everyone for subscribing. And wow, this is I guess a dream come true. I've been thinking about this for quite a while now. So yeah. All right, 13 laps remain though, and we have got Oscar Piastri in the lead of this race ever so marginally. 7 tenths is the gap. This is a nail-biting finish. And I mean, to be honest, for the previous 23 laps, the gap between Piastri and Leclerc has been 8 tenths of a second. So really, I think any McLaren fan or any Piastri fan or any Leclerc fan for that matter, all of the nails are totally gone because here comes Leclerc. What can he do into turn number 1? Too far back once again. He was gaining right at the end there. It seemed like Piastri went into recharge mode. And Leclerc just come over the radio, said Piastri is starting to struggle. Oh, this is a good sign, folks. 12 laps left of this race. I don't care who wins, if it's Piastri or if it's Leclerc, but I'm just going to say we're going to get some more fantastic racing in these 12 laps that remain. Oh, folks, we're 53 subscribers away. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And thank you, everyone, for subscribing. We're getting so close to that 100k mark. All right. F1 Gaming, you speak facts. I've chewed my nails down to the nail bed. Yeah, indeed. I can imagine. And look at that. Fastest lap of the race from Lando Norris. He's caught up 2 seconds in one lap against Max Verstappen. Lando Norris is a man on a mission. And he's about to catch up to Max Verstappen now. Here we go. We'll see what he can do. We've got 12 laps left of this race. The gap between him and Verstappen is 13 seconds. All right. Here we go. We are, 8 subscribers away? Oh, there we go. 100k. Oh, that is fantastic, folks. Honestly, I have no words to really describe what I'm feeling right now, but I think I started this channel 4 years, 5 months, and 1 day ago. I think I did that calculation last week. But thank you everyone for subscribing. We've just hit 100k, which is mind blowing. When I started the channel, I was like, oh, I'll see what I can do during lockdown, and maybe I'll get 100 subscribers or something. And here we are with 1,000 times more than that, which is mind blowing. And getting that on my birthday as well is fantastic. And folks, I've got to stop the thank you speech, because Leclerc's about to overtake Piastri going into turn number 1. Leclerc on the outside, and Piastri once again is defending. Oh my god, this is Piastri's signature move. Go to the inside, block Leclerc from getting the inside, and then say thank you very much for keeping first position. Wow, I mean, 100k in this racing, wow, this is fantastic. And Piastri, here he goes. He's still holding off Charles Leclerc. A fantastic, fantastic drive from Piastri so far. There's 10 laps remaining in this race, 11 laps remaining. We'll see what he can do. And 100k on my birthday as well. I mean, I could not have wished for anything better. And commentating to you guys, there's so many people saying happy birthday and, supporting me trying to get 100k. That is fantastic. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. It's and hopefully I'm going to continue on to the end of this season, next season as well, and we'll see how long this goes, but I'm really going to remember this day. All right, and honestly, I'm going to remember it because of the racing as well. Imagine this, fantastic racing on your birthday, and 100k as well. Congrats on the 100k. Oh my god, the chat's going so fast I can't even read the messages. Happy birthday, best race of the season so far. Thank you very much, Luke, for the donation. Very much is appreciated. But I'm going to get back to commentating the race. I know most of you here are for the race. I will get the silver play button, which I'll post a photo of that in the community posts once it arrives. But now it is time to focus on this battle that has been raging on for 25 laps, and Charles Leclerc has done a sensational job, and here he comes once again. He's got the DRS, he's the slipstream, and Piastri, does he go to the inside? Piastri goes defensive again, and that might have been a little bit early to go defensive, but Piastri, it doesn't matter because he gets such good traction out of that corner. He gets such good exits because his rear tyres are in such good condition compared to Leclerc's. Gregory Brigg, happy birthday, well done for 100k. Thank you for the donation, Gregory. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Wow. Honestly, could not have hoped for anything better today. And Piastri has been driving absolutely fantastically. Lando Norris, 10 seconds is the gap between himself and Max Verstappen. Look at that. In the previous lap, he took 1.5 seconds out of the gap between himself and Verstappen. I have a feeling we're going to get the final lap of the race. That overtake is going to happen, and it's going to be Lando Norris on Max Verstappen. At the front, though, look at that. Charles Leclerc has picked up the pace. So is Perez, and Sainz is on the scene as well. The gap's 3 seconds between Sainz and Perez, and that 3-way battle for first position has now turned into a 4-way battle. This racing has been fantastic, and folks, at Singapore, we are going to have even more of this. We had some great overtaking last year. Of course, the battle between the Ferrari and the Red Bull to get that win was sensational last year, and we're going to have some, well, with the Ferraris, the McLarens, the Mercedes, and the Red Bulls all competing on basically identical and equal footing. The Singapore Grand Prix is going to be a spectacle to watch. So, I hope you guys tune into that one. But we've still got 10 laps left of this race. Roland Burke, thank you for the donation. Very much is appreciated. Is 39 laps on the hards possible? Well, honestly, I think all of these drivers are going to pull off 39 laps on the hards because they're going to have to if they want to hold their race position. Here they go down to turn 1, and it is Oscar Piastri still half a second back. And look at that, the top 3 drivers split by 1.5 seconds, folks. You cannot get any better than this. This is the Formula One that we've all been waiting for. You know, we've had times of domination, we've had times of boring races, but this is what we love Formula One for. And wow, it's going right down to the wire. And honestly, Leclerc has the opportunity to slipstream past Piastri for a drag race down to the finish line. That is definitely possible. So I would recommend watching all the way to the end of this race. All right, Lando Norris, another fastest lap of the race. He's going to be catching up to Verstappen very, very soon. Do you think Hamilton will get points? I don't think so. He's just got past Behrman. He'll have to catch up he'll overtake Colapinto, but still he's got a 5-second gap to Hulkenberg, which I don't think he'll be able to overcome. Thank you, Andy J, for the donation. You'll get a YouTube reward plaque. Indeed, yeah, I'll be looking forward to that arriving in the mail. And no safety car yet as well. Yeah, I was predicting a safety car. We've had 8 races without a safety car, but now we've had this may even turn into 9 races without a safety car. Oh, folks, we've got even more exciting news. Guan Yu Zhou, Valtteri Bottas are going to act as backmarkers, and this could really mix things up. We've got 9 laps left of this race. Piastri, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, all of them are going to catch up to the backmarkers, and this could really spice things up. Oh yeah, folks, since I've hit 100k, I was going to do a small little special reveal. I kind of forgot. I'm not doing a face reveal as of now, but my next aim is not to hit 200k or not to hit 1 million. My next aim is to try and get an ex-Formula 1 driver or an ex-racing driver on the channel to commentate with me. So I'm thinking maybe Nicholas Latifi. I'm going to see if I can get Nicholas Latifi's email and get, an ex-commentator or an ex-F1 driver or an ex-racer onto this channel. And if I can do that, then you'll get a face reveal, with me commentating with another guy. Or another girl, for that matter. But we'll see. If we get Nicholas Latifi, that would be fantastic. Maybe call up the Monaco-based YouTuber Nico Rosberg, who beat Lewis Hamilton in Equal Machinery, who was a 7-time world champion. So we'll see. We'll see who I can get. I'm gonna also, if you guys could follow me on Instagram, F1_gamer_5, because I just want to increase my follower count on Instagram so it looks a little bit more credible when I reach out to people. So we'll see, I'll see if I can get Latifi's email or, Jensen Button's email or like Pastor Maldonado's email, someone. I'll try and see someone. I'll try and figure something out. But that's my next aim. And then that's when you'll get the face reveal, folks. All right. But back to the racing. All right, so that's all the channel stuff out the way. And once again, thanks to my Patreons. They've really helped out the channel financially. I've got professional mic and professional audio equipment to commentate. The Patreons have really helped out. Thank you very, very much. That would be cool. Yeah, maybe Mick Schumacher, maybe Kevin Magnussen. If I could get Vettel onto the channel, honestly, I'd be so happy. Kimi Räikkönen would be amazing, but I don't know how much Kimi Räikkönen would talk. But nonetheless, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. All right. Here we go then. Lap number 44 of 51. And Charles Leclerc, he once again tries to go around the outside, but Piastri is putting his car at the right position every single time. And Charles Leclerc can do nothing about it. Going through turn number 2, the DRS zone is helping out Charles Leclerc, but it's never enough. Leclerc over the radio, what is he saying to Charles? I don't know what they said over the radio to Charles Leclerc, but they said, this is good, keep the pressure on. That's what they've said to Charles Leclerc. And the mistakes will start coming. We've got 29 laps on those hard tyres. Those tyres are going to wear out, and we may see a mistake come from Oscar Piastri and then Charles Leclerc, boom, into first position. We've got a battle between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen brewing. Look at that. The gap is 5 seconds. Lando Norris again taking 2 seconds out of Max Verstappen on the previous lap. He is within striking distance now. We're within 4 laps time. We've got 7 laps left of this race. Verstappen will do his absolute best to return the aggressive defensive driving to Lando Norris. Try and maintain that 6th position. It's important for the championship. It won't be too many points, but every championship point counts, as we have all learned from 2021. All right, here they go. Traffic is also approaching. Guan Yu Zhou, Valtteri Bottas, they'll be soon fast approaching as traffic come the end of this race. So the drivers are going to have to watch out for that. And we've got Charles Leclerc, 7/10 is the gap, and he's gaining. Piastri is once again having to go defensive by the looks of it, and he's already pulling over to the left-hand side. Charles, oh, was that his, look, Piastri's light was flashing. Piastri's light was flashing. He was charging up his battery a little bit just before he reached the straight, just before he reached the braking zone, sorry. And, yeah, wow. All right, I don't know why Leclerc hasn't sent one down the inside yet. Honestly, I would have expected him to send one down the inside, but the thing is, Baku is a very narrow circuit, and even the slightest bit of contact means that he could retire from the race, Piastri could retire from the race, and it would be a big old loss of points for Ferrari, which is not what he wants to do. Ferrari are very much in the fight for winning that Constructors' Championship, so we could see that happen. Ooh, Piastri just touches the wall ever so slightly at turn number 15. Yeah, he's getting very close to the wall there. Piastri getting nice and comfortable. But yeah, tapping the wall a little bit here and there isn't going to matter too much. It's if the impact is much bigger, then issues could be arising. Carlos Sainz has caught up to the back of Perez. And here we go then. We could see Carlos Sainz get into, and we could have a Ferrari 2-3. That would be brilliant. Let's wait and see. Fantastic job, Gasly, Ricciardo, Ocon going for a zero stop. Oh yeah, what are Gasly, Ocon, honestly, I know what they're doing. They're just waiting for a safety car to come out. I don't know why they're going for a zero-stop race. I haven't even noticed that. Yeah. Wow. Ooh. All right. Here is Oscar Piastri, and look at that gap. It has just gone over 1 second, and after 30 laps of battling for so long, Charles Leclerc just now gives up DRS on Oscar Piastri because his tyres are gone. His rear tyres are gone, and now Perez is attacking Leclerc. Leclerc has been attacking for 30 laps straight. Now he's got 5 laps to defend against Sergio Perez. Thankfully, to his aid, he has Carlos Sainz coming to help out, and Perez will have to pay attention to his mirrors as well instead of just attacking. Yeah, the 3 tyre whisperers, Gasly, Ricciardo and Ocon, 0 stops for them, and they are just waiting now for a safety car to come out, put on a set of soft tyres and trying to make a bunch of overtakes. I think that's what their strategy is. Piastri's getting close to the traffic now. If we have a look at the lap times, look at that. So Bottas and Zhou, they're doing 147s, 148s, and Piastri's doing 140, like low 147s. So I think on the final lap of this race, we're probably going to see the back markers potentially affect things as well. Wow, this is getting very, very exciting. F1 is so totally back. Indeed, it is. We've got Stroll into the pits. I think Stroll may be retiring from this race. Yeah, I think it was just a little bit too far back. Look at that. Piastri has done such a fantastic job of defending for 30 laps. He has managed to hold off Leclerc. The gap now 1.5 seconds. However, the battery level, Charles Leclerc has got 30% battery. Oscar Piastri is running on the lowest battery level possible. The AWS says he's on 0% battery. That's clearly incorrect. However, Piastri is running in an engine mode where he will use the same amount of battery that he will regain under the braking zones, whereas Leclerc, he's charging his battery up to 30-40% because when he needs it to defend against Perez, to attack Piastri, that is when he is going to use it. Will Piastri struggle with bad air once he catches up? Yeah, Piastri will struggle with bad air. And if, Bottas or Zhou even make the slightest of mistakes in getting out of the way incorrectly, then Leclerc is going to be right on his tail. However, the battle for first place has faded away a little bit, and Leclerc has to go defensive against Perez. Leclerc has to go defensive, and he holds off Perez going into turn number 3, and he's taking a page from Piastri's textbook. He's imitating Piastri to the T, and he's done a fantastic defensive maneuver there. It's now a 3-way battle for second position. Charles Leclerc versus Sergio Perez versus Carlos Sainz. All right, wow. This has been some fantastic racing here, folks. Fantastic. Honestly, get out the popcorn. Honestly, you should have had at least 4 bags of popcorn all of this race. It's been so exciting from start to finish. Look at the gap between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. It is 1 second. Lando Norris is within DRS range of Verstappen now, and we're going to see Lando make a move on Verstappen. 4 laps remain of this race. I know for a fact Verstappen will have his battery charged up for this very, very moment, and now he's going to go super defensive against Lando Norris to try and hold up, claim 6th position for him. Folks, do let me know who you think is your driver of the day, but in my opinion, it is Oscar Piastri. He has done a brilliant job defending, no mistakes. It's only his 2nd year in Formula 1, and yeah, but here we go. We've got a battle, Leclerc versus Perez, and Perez is right on Leclerc's tail. He's closer than he was to when he was overtaking Piastri, and Leclerc goes defensive, Perez to the outside, and Sainz is on the scene now. And if Perez even steps his slightest bit out of line, Carlos Sainz is going to come steaming past him. And finally, Lando Norris versus Max Verstappen. Norris is gaining, he pulls out to the right-hand side. Verstappen is super defensive, and going into turn number 1, will Lando Norris get the lead of this, get ahead of Max Verstappen? Yes, he will. What an overtake there from Lando Norris, and he's up into 6th position. Verstappen could not fight it, unfortunately. The rear of the car, he's really struggling with it, and he does not have enough traction to fight that one. All right, Piastri gets ahead of Bottas. That is, he's cleared 1 member of the traffic, but Leclerc, Perez, and Sainz, there's 3 drivers, 3 laps left, and there's 3 drivers ahead of him for traffic as well. All right, Oscar's going to be getting a tow, so he's going to run away with this lead. It's 3.3 seconds, 3.4 seconds. However, Charles Leclerc, he may get a tow off Bottas or Zhou or Ocon, and that will save him for at least 1 lap to hold on to that 2nd place against Sergio Perez. Wow, what a race this has been. All right, it is absolutely brilliant from Oscar Piastri. He's been under so much pressure for so long, but what can you say except diamonds are formed under pressure? Oscar Piastri has done fantastically, and we're only on lap number 49 of 51. 3 laps remain of this race. Norris will try to catch up to George Russell to try to get 5th position as well. We'll see what he can do, but it's going to be a tall order and tall ask for Lando Norris. And we've got Leclerc versus Perez going into turn number 1, and Perez to the outside, Leclerc to the inside. Perez squeezes Leclerc to the wall, and it's side by side, and it's Sainz goes up into, Perez gets up ahead. How has that happened? No, Perez down to 4th, and is Sainz up into 2nd position, or is that Leclerc? I cannot tell. And and they collide. What's happened here? And they're into the wall they go. And Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez are both out of this Grand Prix. We're going to have the safety car come out. And Gasly and Ricciardo are going to get a free pit stop. Ocon, Gasly, Ricciardo have been waiting for just this moment. And we are at the final lap of this, 2nd to last lap of this race. And Sainz and Perez crash into each other. Oh, no. Oh, my God. It's a yellow flag for now. That's going to have to turn into a safety car. Verstappen's into the pits immediately for a fresh set of soft tyres. Really quick thinking by the Red Bull crew. And what is going to happen here? Oh my God, Sergio Perez having a fantastic race. This is, what has happened? Okay, so I've got to describe this in action. So Perez gets ahead of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc manages to squeeze Perez out into turn number 1. Carlos Sainz also gets the overtake done on Perez into turn number 2. But however, Sainz gets a little bit too greedy. He tries to overtake his teammate as well, and then Sainz tries to squeeze Perez. Perez doesn't see Sainz squeezing him, and Sainz just cuts across him, and they both crash into the barriers. An enormous wreck, an enormous loss of points for the Red Bull team, an enormous loss of points for the Ferrari team. Both of the drivers are out, and why is the safety car still not out? What are they doing? Surely you've got to deploy the safety car. A virtual safety car has been deployed. And who's coming into the pits? Ricciardo's into the pits, and Verstappen's into the pits on a fresh set of is this going to be a safety car? It's the final lap of the race. This may be an anticlimactic finish. The medical car has been deployed. Both drivers seem to be fine. Franco Colapinto's in the points. Alex Albon in 7th position. And Norris is in fourth. Oh, what a race this has been. Oh my God. You cannot top this off. We got 100k. It's my birthday. We've had a fantastic race in Baku. Virtual safety car's out. Sainz is out of the car. Perez is also getting out of the car. But we are on the final lap of the race. Piastri is on the final lap. And the race is what an anti... Oh, I don't... We'll wait till Piastri comes across the line before we start celebrating. But what a turn of events this has been. I thought something would have boiled over between Leclerc and Piastri. That both drivers were pushing so hard all the way to the limit, defending for 30 laps straight. And I would have thought, a slight mistake here and there, and into the wall they go. But no, it was between Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez, who weren't battling all the race long. The first opportunity they got to tangle, and they were out of the race. Ooh. Hamilton gets himself up into the points. Oliver Behrman in 10th position is likely to score points for the Haas team, which would mean that he has scored points for two different constructors in his first Grand Prix and his second Grand Prix. That is a record-breaking strat for Oliver Behrman. Carlo Pinto is going to score points in his second Formula One Grand Prix, and we've got Oscar Piastri in the lead of this race. He is sticking to the Delta under the virtual safety car, and he is he comes through turn number 18, 19 and 20. He is cruising now. He is not under pressure from Charles Leclerc whatsoever. Oscar Piastri has had everything thrown at him from start to finish, from lap number 1. He's been under so much pressure, but he has done an absolutely fantastic job. He's driven like a superhuman, like a world champion. Piastri comes across the line to take his second victory in Formula One. What a drive from Oscar Piastri, and we've got many more similar drives coming from him very, very soon. Charles Leclerc across the line to take second place. He has fought so long with Oscar Piastri. He even got pole position, but it just was not enough. And a very good second place for Ferrari, and they'll be happy to take those points onwards towards the Constructors' Championship. But with Sainz out of this race and Lando Norris up in fourth, that's not gone well for Ferrari for the World Constructors' Championship. Russell across the line, third place for him. He has done a brilliant job, and it was just in a bit of a no man's land, and it all kicked off ahead of him, and Russell has come home to claim a free podium. Norris started the race in 15th, up into 4th position. Admittedly, a bit of luck on his side, but nonetheless, the luck comes his way, and he's in 4th place. Max Verstappen in 5th. He's not losing too many points to Lando Norris in this race, so he'll be happy about that. But the rear of the car bouncing around, Verstappen's going to complain about that for sure. Alonso in 6th position, Albon in 7th. Both the Williams scoring points. Haven't had that happen in a while. Colapinto, second Formula One race, he scores points. Hamilton brings the car that started in the pit lane into 9th place. And Oliver Behrman rounds out the top 10, scoring points on his second Formula One Grand Prix as well. Driver of the day is Oscar Piastri. What a race this has been, folks. Wow. Okay. Mind-blowing. This race, 11 out of 10, 20 out of 10, 1,000 out of 10. Honestly, it's been fantastic. We've had 51 laps of racing here at Baku, and this has been one of the best Azerbaijan Grand Prix that we have ever had in history. One of the best races this season, and honestly, Singapore is going to be even better, with all 4 teams on level footing in terms of qualifying pace and race pace. We're going to see fantastic strategic battles and fantastic nail-biting finishes just like this one. And Piastri has, Piastri, a fantastic job, and there's not much else that I can say. Thank you everyone for tuning into the live stream. Thank you everyone that has subscribed today so we could hit 100k. That has been, it's been mind-blowing that I've just hit 100k. It's going to take a while for that to sink in. And yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating to you. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage, because this has been a mind-blowing race, honestly. Spectacular. There's no words that you can use to describe it. And the last thing from me, folks, is I'm going to end today's stream. It'll take you over to the stream for the Singapore Grand Prix. If you could just press the reminder button and the like button on the Singapore Grand Prix stream, that helps out the channel massively. It just allows us to keep on growing, and more people subscribe to the channel, get recommended my videos. So that is it from me, folks. So that's all I request. If you guys do hit the like button and the reminder button on the Singapore Grand Prix stream. But that has been it from me, and we've had a fantastic race, and it's going to take a while for all of this to settle in. But I will see you in 1 week's time in Singapore for some more fantastic racing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you in a week. And just a final thing, just the like button, the reminder button, and that is it from me. Cheers, everyone.